Well, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Got a great broadcast lineup for you this morning, as we always do. We're going to kick this thing off, but before we do any kicking, I got to say good morning to my brother from another mother, but we got the same father. This is Captain Leonard. Good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Good evening, Raheem and the Morning Glow family.
Now, how you gonna go from morning to evening?
Good morning, Raheem and the Morning Glow family.
You said good evening. Look at the
Did
broadcast.
I?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You
Oh.
say good evening. You say good evening. I said, oh Lord, how you just I say, how you gonna go from morning to evening? You just gonna throw the whole day away. Just gonna throw the whole day away. But Leonard, I got a question for you, man, and we're gonna jump right into this right here because I know this being Black Conversation, we're gonna have a lot of things we're gonna talk about today. So I want to jump into this topic, and let me tell everybody, we got quite a few people that's joining us. Good morning, Charles, Alex, Charles. We got Charles Taylor. Good morning to you. Glad to have you. Glad to have you, and you can definitely be a part of the conversation. And anybody can be a part of the conversation. All you have to do is give us a call 508-924-3521 508-924-3521. The phone lines are open. Leonard, question for you. Are you and this is a individual question. Are you black first or are you Christian first? Which one, Leonard?
Well, Christian. I don't have to do nothing to be black. I'm black regardless. It doesn't matter. I'm not. I don't have this preconceived notion on being black.
Okay.
I'm a human being.
That's good.
I happen to be black.
But would that not mean that if that be the case, you don't have to do anything? There's no effort involved in being black because you're gonna be black. You
Right.
can't be anything else. So would that in a roundabout way mean that you're black first? Because and I'm not gonna lead you answer anyway. But would that mean that you're somewhat black first?
I mean, if that's what your world is about, if that is your perspective, when people talk about black, they talk about black from a perspective, not from an actual ethnic background of any type. Because one, you have chosen to take the white man's definition of what black is, and therefore, one, who's to say you're really true to that anyway? But I don't have to do nothing to be black. That's the easiest thing for me to be.
So and this is one of our questions today, and everybody that's listening, we got quite a few people that's tuning in, and we're going to cater this to whoever you are. If you're Latino, we're gonna ask you, are you Latino first and Christian second? So anybody that calling, if you're Caucasian first, or you Caucasian first or Christian first, and we're going to cater it to whoever you are. So give us a call 508-924-3521 508-924-3521. Leonard. I love where you're going with this thing, man. But let me ask you this question: to be black, like you said earlier, takes no effort. You don't have to do anything. You wake up, you go to sleep, or whatever you do, you still gonna be black. Being Christian takes an effort. There's an effort involved in order to be Christian. If you're going to be Christian, quote unquote, the way that people say. And I put it that way, the way that people say a Christian should be, that it takes effort. So in order to put an effort, in order to be a Christian, you have to put that effort into it. Now, in order to be black, you just got to be. So,
I'm not preoccupied with it.
I understand, and I love that about you, brother. But for the sake of the conversation, what would you say, man? Is there more effort? There's no comparison. because there is no
They're
effort in.
they're not even in the same lane to me.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, and that's right. So what are you, black first, or are you Christian first?
I mean, there's no first. That's not like asking God what He was doing before He was being God to me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now let me take this thing to a whole nother level. What is because I heard people say a lot of time, it's my culture. It's the culture of what we do. It's the culture of that activity. What is culture?
Culture is what you choose, how you choose to live, what you choose to enjoy, what you
Mm-hmm.
choose to participate in, what
Mm-hmm.
you choose to contribute to or take from. Is
Mm-hmm.
how you live every day.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you live within a particular culture, and that's one of the biggest issues I have with being black, because black is pretty indiscriminate when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to character.
Okay.
Remember, black is just an easy way for the white man
Mm-hmm.
to categorize things.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So one, I deal more with especially culture.
Mm-hmm. Am I hearing you say, and correct me if I'm wrong when I say this, culture has nothing to do with color.
No,
Mm.
no.
So it's not your culture to be black. It's not your culture to do black things. It's not
Mm,
your culture to live the black way.
mm, mm.
Come on, man. This radio, brother. You got to talk.
Culture is what you call it. I mean,
Hmm.
there are things that are definitely specific to African American culture.
Hmm.
Now, being black does not start becoming an issue or a consideration until what, uh, the early 1900s or so,
Hmm. Hmm.
when they began to codify, well, of course, with slavery, but when they began to codify black as something other than the color of a person's skin, it was
Hmm.
a way to discriminate against you. It was a marker that they used
Hmm.
it for. So it really is just a word that's being used now to just lump people together who are not white.
Hmm. Hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? It's just that insignificant.
Exactly. So what does it mean when a person say it's the black culture to do this, or it's the white culture to do this, it's the Latino culture to do this? What exactly does that mean?
That's just the way they use to categorize how they live.
Hmm.
That's what it is. It's a way to categorize so people understand who they are, how they live, sometimes where they live, what they eat, what they enjoy. That's
Hmm.
what culture really is about. It's a bunch of different things.
Hmm.
Now, one, what has happened is due to your miseducation. Sometimes you use words and things like that out of place.
Hmm.
But long as your group or society understands what you mean, that's even fine because that's
Hmm.
part of that culture to
Hmm.
understand it. They've set the norms and things like that for their particular culture.
Hmm. Some would say, watch this now. Some would say it's a black culture to eat chitlins. Would you agree with that?
Well, if all you know is black, yes. If you don't know that other people eat intestines, then that's probably something that you would say.
Hmm. And and my man, that's something I could never get with chitlins, man. When I
Well,
found out,
I just think they're disgusting, so I don't eat them.
absolutely,
I
absolutely,
mean, I know some people. My dad used to.
mm. Man, my family used to eat them too. They used to cook them, man, and people should say how my grandmother could cook them, man, and you never smell them, and I'm like, what are you
Well,
come on,
they
you.
oh yeah, it's a process. I can tell you, it's
Mhm.
from beginning to end. It's a process.
It's a very nasty process, brother.
But you
It's a
see
very,
how crazy culture is.
hmm.
Culture simply wants you to believe that it's the food of slaves.
Yes, yes, absolutely,
That lets me
absolutely.
know how limited a person's view of culture really is.
Hmm.
Because
Mm,
people eat intestines around the world and always have.
mm,
But you chose to use it in your culture to somehow say that it's less than, you were less than, and of course the white people threw you, quote, the scraps,
hmm.
if that's the
Hmm.
term you want to use.
Yeah.
But people use the intestines and internal organs around the world and consume them readily. So it's part of the African American slave culture narrative when it comes to
Mhm.
chitlins.
Exactly. Now, Leonard, I'm gonna ask you a different type question right now. How powerful, lack of a better term, I guess, how powerful, how strong does this black individual have to be? Because they was only given the scraps, they was only given the part that other people did not want, the intestines, of an animal to survive on, and they took the bottom of the bottom, no pun intended, the bottom of the bottom, and used it to and survive, and still made it through. Leonard, man, that's some powerful people, brother.
Well, that's what they knew.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they knew. They knew how to do that. These people weren't stupid people.
Mm-hmm.
They,
Exactly.
they knew how to survive.
Mm-hmm.
They knew how to survive. They took human beings, they captured human beings and enslaved them.
Mm-hmm.
Part of these different cultures includes the eating of internal organs and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm.
those enslaved people had culture. They knew what to do. They knew how to survive. They were in
Mm-hmm.
a new land and they learned to adapt to that land. But I understand when people say they gave them the scraps
Mm-hmm.
because we would probably want to say that, they didn't eat much of it. But even then, that leaves a lot to argue if you understand food history and food culture as well.
Mm-hmm.
There are many people who are not black that eat chitlins.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They are. It really is. There
They
is.
they always ate
Mm-hmm.
them, and they
Mm-hmm.
usually ate them because it was a thing where you wouldn't waste any part of an animal that you kill.
Mm-hmm.
But I
Mm.
understand how it fits into the narrative of African American culture.
Wow. If you had to explain to someone, Leonard, and I'm glad we're having this opportunity to talk. If you had to explain to an individual, what exactly is African American culture, if you had to explain it to them I'm gonna be general, in 3 sentences, how would you explain it?
I wouldn't explain it. I would tell you to go experience it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what
But
you
how would
do
you?
with culture. You go experience it. You go
Mm-hmm.
read a book. Go take a class somewhere
Mm-hmm.
if that's what you want to do to learn about African American culture. However,
Mm-hmm.
you want to submerge yourself in African American culture, you can do that. Whether it's in the culture of music, whether it's in family life, whether it's in any types of arts and entertainment, anything like that. You immerse yourself in it. It's just
Mm-hmm.
like when you go to Mardi Gras, you
Mm.
learn the culture of Mardi Gras.
Mm-hmm.
You can read about it and whatever, but then you go and experience it. Then you learn to eat the foods and cook the foods and the cuisine and all of that area in that region. And in doing so, you learn about the culture.
Is there certain parts of it that reading a book, experiencing it in that way, still could not teach you?
I mean, it just depends on what it is. It's not that big of a deal.
Mm-hmm.
It really isn't. You just go hang out with folks you don't know nothing about and you follow them. Sometimes it's through a friend.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you may meet a friend at work and then y'all become a little bit closer and you say, hey, why don't you come over for dinner? Then you share a meal. That's part of your culture.
Mm-hmm.
What you eat, what you consume, it can be part of your culture. The music that you listen to, the dances that you dance, part of your
Mm-hmm.
culture. You
Okay,
know,
that's
what is appropriate and what is inappropriate, part of your culture.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. God is good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
God, we asking a question, and I need to hear your heart on this right here. God, is are you black first or are you Christian first? And and there's a silence.
You really don't want to answer me to answer that. First of all, I'm not black at all.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um,
Okay. What would you categorize yourself as?
African American.
Okay. Well, if you are you African American first or are you Christian first?
Um, I'm not Christian
Mm-hmm.
because that's not our culture.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I would say that's something that we learned.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, African Americans don't know their full culture, period. We had to develop our own culture once we were placed over here. We didn't realize that we came from kings and queens. Slavery didn't start where we come from in culture. And
Mm-hmm.
where a lot of people like to pick up from, I can't even recall back. I trace a lot of my roots. I can't even recall anybody in our family ever being from a slave. Not saying that we have it. Maybe I didn't get a chance to trace enough further back from that, but I've traced all the way to my great great grandmother. So I can't say that. So a lot of people, some people can, some people can't. But slavery was not where we began at. We began with kings, queens, rulers of the empire, where we astronomers, those who studied the stars, architects. That's where we came from. That's exactly where we came from. I
Mm-hmm.
have Indian in my blood, so as well as African American, but we came from um, the beginning of civilization, where civilization started,
Mm-hmm.
and so Christianity, in my personal point of view, I know that that Christianity was also big in I can't think of the name of the country, um, but they didn't call it quote quote Christianity.
Mm-hmm.
So you come back from Egypt, ancient Kemet, and all that. That's where a lot of the stuff came from out of Christianity, the Bible and all that. The oldest Bible is in Ethiopia. A lot of people don't know that, but the
Mm-hmm.
Catholicism came in and took parts of Christianity to use to control, and that's how they have been using Christianity. They controlled us. They used Christianity and brought us over in slavery and everybody tried to mandate us to become Christians, but yet they didn't want us to read the Bible.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Let me,
Christianity has always been used as a control, not really as something where you become spiritual. We were already a spiritual person. We were already divine within our due to our DNA. That's what people fail to realize. The black woman or the African American woman, we have the mitochondrial gene, which is the Eve gene, the godlike Eve gene. A lot of people don't know that we're not our things are not calcified. I can't think of the word right now. Leonard, help me. What's that at the pineal gland? Our pineal
Pineal
gland
gland.
we're not born calcified. So we already have a divine connection with God naturally. And we don't understand that
mm-hmm.
because we have not learned our true culture.
That's good. That's good. Leonard, what do you say? What do you say to that? And I want to ask you a specific question after you answer that. What do you say to that, Leonard?
Say to what?
What she just said.
She said a lot.
Mm-hmm. Pick apart. Pick apart, Leonard.
I mean, I don't mean I've heard of the narratives and research and things like that. A lot of that what she says is actually true.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's science. I mean, it's not that big of a deal or a far stretch to understand that. All you have to do is pick up a freaking book.
Mm-hmm.
But history is what it is. It don't change.
Mm-hmm.
So that information is still there. How people choose to use it is their business. I don't particularly care for certain things in the culture back then
Mm-hmm.
prior to being here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I have
Mm-hmm.
just the biggest issues with that is African culture after enslavement here in America. So, but I
Now,
do understand that there's still an African culture that has been existing ever since then.
yeah, yeah.
There's still Africans living
Mm-hmm.
in Africa
Mm-hmm.
who do what they do. who live
Mm-hmm.
how they live. They've progressed just like everybody else in the world. They just were not enslaved.
Leonard, what is your take on when you hear a person say that we came from royalty, we came from kings and queens? What's your take on that?
Some people did, some people didn't. It's not. It depends on what family you belong to.
So not all African Americans was come from kings and queens.
No, no. If some people's families were just doing whatever it is they were doing, kings and queenship base was based on various attributes of certain people.
Mm-hmm.
It was just as sadistic as it is then as it is now.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. It's not a far stretch of the imagination to understand that though, because people still have the same mentality that they had then, especially men. Men will establish whatever they want to establish and kill
Mm-hmm.
everybody that don't go along with it, thus make
Mm-hmm.
them king.
Mm.
Then there are some people who believe that there are divine appointments.
But sometimes then, yeah, people need a people, and I say a people, not talking anybody in particular, but sometimes people need something to hold on to. Why would and if they gonna hold on to the fact that they came from kings and queens, why would one want to take that away from them?
Because that would be a lie. There's no sense in feeding people lies. If you were the descendant of a king or a queen, you could trace your ancestry back and find out.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Wow.
several kingdoms on the continent of Africa.
Mm-hmm.
It was even called something several different things before that.
Mm-hmm.
Several empires of great kings who rose and fell just like everybody else.
Mm. But
Whole lines of kings were destroyed and killed for this reason.
so basically, and we got a few people on the phone. I don't want to get to them as well. So basically, what I'm hearing you say is that narrative that we come from kings and queens is not 100% accurate.
Not in the sense that every person would have been royalty, no. But then again, just like Christianity,
Mm-hmm.
Christianity purports the same thing. You're a
Mm-hmm.
child of the king, which
Mm-hmm.
gives you the royal priesthood
Mm-hmm.
because you are children of the king that you claim. And
Mm-hmm.
anybody who claims Christ as king are his children. And his children, therefore, share in his divinity and all of this type of thing. So this concept is ancient. It's not
Mm-hmm.
new. It's not new at all. Remember,
So
presidents and things are new.
so they've been selling. This is something they've been selling for a long time.
Well, yeah, some people say selling it or whatever, but it wasn't in the sense that you may understand it to be.
Mm-hmm.
You should go study it. Don't
Mm-hmm.
make it up. Don't make an assumption. Go study your history.
Good deal. Let me go to the phone lines, and there, we do have several phone lines that are open right now, so you can give us a call 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Toussaint, good morning. How you doing this morning, Cassandra? Coming to you next, sis.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Friday to everyone. Leonard, you are on it this morning.
My friend.
Look at look at I need to ask you a question, and this is where we started this morning, so I want to take you back to the beginning. Toussaint, are you black first or are you Christian first? What do you say to that?
What do you see when you first walk up to me?
I see a black man.
There you go. Now
Mm-hmm.
you run your mouth if you want to, or I can run mine.
Mm-hmm.
Now I am Christian.
Mm-hmm.
Don't make no mistake about it. I will not deny that.
Yes.
Not the Christian, I keep saying this, not the Christian that some suppose.
Mm-hmm.
My kind of Christian. Now,
Mm-hmm.
now whatever that means, that's between me and God.
Come on.
Ain't got nothing to do with you.
Mm-hmm.
The faith that I have, He gave it to me. I'm not clear on that yet. I'm working on it,
Mm-hmm. That's good.
and He working on me. Now, what I'm guessing about, it don't even have nothing to do with it because faith ain't guessing. Faith knows.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I was so interested. I was interested in the conversation y'all was having about being kings. Oh, what? How did y'all put that? Everybody kings and queens.
Well, they say
I'm
yeah.
so interested in that conversation.
Okay, good. We're gonna get back to it. We're definitely gonna get back to it because we asking,
Okay, all right. I'm
as
gonna back out everything.
as a black man, do you agree with the narrative though, Toussaint, that we're all from kings and queens? Do you agree with that narrative? Are we all kings and queens? Are we all
No,
from kings and queens?
no, no, no. Let me tell you something. What society is full of kings and queens?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really. I mean, look. Let's lay it down. Where in the world do you know any type of people that are all kings and queens? Okay, in the even in the Native American society, just so that we can put that around there, include that.
Mm-hmm.
Is all of them chiefs,
No, sir.
or is there some Indians?
Mm-hmm. There are a lot of
Do
Indians.
all of them have do all of them have a headgear full of feathers,
No.
or does some of them have just one or two?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you.
So in any, I'm talking about any society, you go anywhere you want to in the world. Do you know a society that is full of kings and queens? And if it is, well, who did king and queen over? What does
Mm-hmm.
that make?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really.
Yeah.
And I say that because people want to say, well, we Hebrews. Good. Okay. Yes, ma'am. All right. I want to go back into time for just a little while. But because there are other folks on the line, I'm going to shut my mouth.
Good deal. We're definitely gonna get back to you. Cassandra, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning.
Cassandra, hey, we got a question going this morning. I need to hear your heart on it. Says, are you black first or are you Christian first?
um, I I agree with
Come on.
y'all been throwing questions out that like have been getting me tongue tied lately. I'm like, what? Okay. I really am like Toussaint. When people walk up to you, the first thing they see is your color.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care how spiritual you are. The first thing they see is your color, whether it's black, white, red, orange with green, whatever your color is. They see that. So, I would say black, but I feel like I'm a Christian first as far as my faith, my walk. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? If
Mm-hmm.
that makes sense. But when people walk up to you, the first thing they see is your color.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. That's good. That's good. Um, what is Cassandra? What is black culture?
Black culture is different things to different people. To me,
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay. So you got black people from the Caribbean islands. You got black people from you understand
Mm-hmm.
it. Once again, if that makes sense. So your culture, the culture that you come from, can be different, even though you black.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? We
Mm-hmm.
have all these different dynamics that play into culture. So it's according to where you like. It's African people that don't feel like American blacks are African, and
Mm-hmm.
I still don't get that. I've
Yeah.
had them tell me y'all are not Africans. I'm like, what
Mm-hmm.
the how?
Mm-hmm.
How is
Yeah.
that happening?
Mm-hmm.
But that's all I got on that. I don't know.
Well, a lot of times they say that we've become too Americanized and we don't understand what it is to be African. We've lost our connection, lack of a better term. A lot of them
I
say,
get it. We didn't lose. We did. let me say this, and I'm done. We didn't lose our connection with Africa. It was taken from us.
Yeah.
It was beat out of us.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't just give it up. We didn't. When we got to America, Africans were speaking the dialect from wherever tribe or whatever they were from. It was beaten out of us. We didn't give up our names willingly. They beat our names out of us. So, that's why I don't understand why people don't understand why we want to embrace our African ancestry. Why not? We need to. We might never know where we're from. I'm blessed because I was able to have my daughter to do the African ancestry, where they have collected all of these blood samples from DNA from people from Sierra Leone and all the different tribal areas in Africa. And I love African ancestry; they are amazing. But for me, my family was traced to Sierra Leone.
Okay. Wow, that's powerful. Exactly. Charles, good morning. How you doing this morning? Charles, are you there?
What's going on, man?
Hey, what's going on with you, man? Question for you.
Yeah,
Are
can you hear
you?
me? I'm talking. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I heard you. Yeah.
What's up, man?
Are you? Good morning, man. Are you black first or are you Christian first? Charles, can you hear me? Charles may having some issues with his line there. Can you hear me, Charles? Yeah, he having some issues. Leonard, talk to me, brother.
Well, I mean, I think, like you say, everybody's concept is different. However, I'm more into the truth of the matter. It doesn't have to be what I like. It doesn't have to be what I approve of. It's actual research. And sometimes, the definitions, there are definitions for things. And if you get too used to using a word, phrase, or concept incorrectly, that has an impact on the things that you believe and how you believe them.
Okay.
Because some people don't understand the difference between race and ethnicity. It's a huge difference.
Yes, it is.
Just like you say, you can be black in Haiti and all over the world. That plays a part in what you consider your culture. Africans don't have black culture. They have their culture. You can claim their culture if you want to.
Explain that to me. You say Africans don't have black culture. Explain that to me.
Don't, because black was created by white folks.
Okay.
To characterize things. And that's the majority of the reason why so many black folks are miseducated. You ain't too different than your ignorant oppressor. You're not that different. So, you can separate yourself how he separated you if you want to. And it plays a very distinct part of your life here because we live in the same society and we're a society made up of different cultures. Africans are African. Why? Because of where they were born. You can call you, and if you think about it, when you Africans allow you to call them Africans, but amongst their people, they're not African.
So with that same narrative,
they may be Somalian, they may be Sinhalese, they may be all over the continent.
Now, would that same narrative hold true if you see a Chinese because of where they was born, and Japanese is a Japanese because of where they were born? Would that narrative hold true?
Let me tell you how ignorant y'all are because of your oppressor. You look at people that look a certain way and call them Chinese. Because of how they look.
Yeah.
But then you can't tell the difference sometimes between Chinese and Japanese if you don't know what to look for. Do you know how many Asian cultures live right in Riverdale, Georgia? Distinct people of different colors and nationalities and cultures and languages. Gwinnett County is probably one of the fastest growing. They have so many different languages and cultures of people in Gwinnett County that the entire county has to adjust.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand how some people view things in the lens that they look through because of definitely my education and things like that and study.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand I can understand because one, when you say black culture, I know what you mean.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean that I completely believe everything that you believe about it. But I do understand with what you mean. Even though I
Mm-hmm.
don't accept some of it or what have you, I
Yeah.
do understand what you mean
And where I'm coming from.
and where you're coming from.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because I
Good.
understand the culture.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's part of the culture.
Is that a part? Is that a part or a piece? I'm going to go to Charles. I hope his line is. And we got some more people on the phone line as well, and we got a few. We got Badger on, so we could go to him. But is that a part or a piece of the puzzle? With getting away from this racism thing, just simply understanding each other.
Oh, you'll be so much freer once you get away from it. You'll
Mm-hmm.
be you wouldn't believe how your mind would open up if
Mm-hmm.
you turn loose this obsession with race.
Mm.
Now, look at me. People who know what I do, I am very much immersed in culture, in our culture.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just a guy. I'm just a human being. I study that. I study critical race theory. I ain't pledge allegiance to it. I don't worship it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I don't. That's a waste of my time to sit around trying to be black. That's a
Mm-hmm.
waste of my time.
Mm-hmm.
And some of you try way too hard when you can be black and do whatever it is you want to do. You know how I can be with the. It's amazing to me how people. I'm black. I'm black. I'm black. So what?
Mm-hmm.
Next,
Mm-hmm.
what's
Let
the
me
big
go
deal?
to
You,
exactly. Good deal. Let me go to Charles. Charles, let me check your connection, brother. Unmute yourself.
Yeah,
See, can we hear
we should be
you?
fixed now, right?
Okay, yeah, we good. Now,
All right,
question
let me
is,
get back to the
are
phone.
you black? Are you black first or are you Christian first?
Hey, first of all, I want to say I agree with everything Lynn said.
Mm-hmm.
Everything.
Mm-hmm.
Even I was about to correct him on something, but he even went deeper in that, corrected himself. So yeah, he's right about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But people, I consider
Hold on, Charles.
myself.
Hold on, Charles. You and Leonard agreeing? What's
Oh, hey, look,
I don't
man.
have a
When you right,
problem with Charles in theory. I
when
think
you
we just
right,
have
you're right.
issues
Our only
politically.
issue
That's
is
all.
that I believe, I believe going one way politically. He believed going another way politically. That's
Yeah,
pretty
that's
mm-hmm.
much the
it.
only difference. That's the only
Mm-hmm.
difference, I think, the way we think on things.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But as for what he's just said is dead on. And answering your question is not, you're asking me what I believe about myself, what I think about myself, not what other people see me. Because other
Mm-hmm.
people will see me as black, but I see myself as a Christian, and I don't praise my skin color. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not colorblind, but I'm not blinded by color either. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not blinded by that. Like he was just saying about, well, you don't. A lot of people don't know the difference from a Hmong, a Korean. You know, they don't know the difference between them. The
Mm-hmm.
cultures are different too. See, and another thing, our culture. If you ever read that book by Thomas Sowell, Black Rednecks and White Liberals,
Mm-hmm.
it'll let you understand that your culture actually comes from not the slave master, but the people who were put over you, who you hung with. See, we hung with the Lord, like in different regions during slavery time, you didn't have time to travel. You couldn't travel. So the people that came from certain parts of England or British or whatever lived in certain parts of United States. And the black people who were with them picked up that culture from them.
Mm-hmm.
So the braggadocious ways, the killing each other ways, stuff like that, that a lot of that come from those cultures. See, you can put a black man like my martial arts teacher. He's a black guy. He was raised um, in the martial arts, like deep martial arts. Like he lived in um, China, he lived in Japan. But his culture, if you talk to him on the phone, his culture is actually those people. He's not. He's black though. He's blacker than black. But his
Mm-hmm.
culture, the way his demeanor, the way he carries himself, he is them. He's a
Mm-hmm.
fighter. He's fighting all his life. So he picked up the martial arts culture, the culture of that. and you can't tell him that he's not. If you talk to him and you close your eyes and you turn around and you talk to a grandmaster of that is an Asian, you would swear it's the same person because he knows that culture. And the thing that Leonard also said about not just praising who your skin color and your race and understanding what human beings are. I understand what you, like he said, I understand what you mean by black. When you say black culture, you're saying black American culture. You're saying black American culture. You're not saying black culture because, like Miss Cassandra said, you could be Haiti, you could be from anywhere, and that's
absolutely.
I've heard, like, when I was in Jamaica, man, I heard some white dudes, man. I swear, man, look, and some Puerto Rican dudes that were from Jamaica, were born there and raised there. If you close your eyes, you think they were black Jamaicans. Because that's just the culture that they picked up who they were with. So
that's good. Hey. It's a lot, man. This is a deep conversation. We got quite a few people on the phone lines. We're gonna come to each and every one of you. I want to go right now. I want to go to there you go, mute your line for me, Charles. I'm gonna go to Badger. Badger, let me ask you this question, Badger, and we catering it to who we talking to. So what would you categorize yourself in regards to race? And good morning. How you doing this morning? Pick one, Badger. Pick one.
I guess you could say indigenous.
Okay. Are you indigenous first or are you spiritual first?
I mean, I couldn't.
Come on. Come on, Badger. It's ready. We gotta keep it going.
Oh, I know. How could you accept the fact of being anything if you don't know what you are to begin with? So you have to have some kind of knowledge of where you're from or who you are or who your ancestors are to some degree.
Where do you get that? Where do you get that?
What do you mean? Where do you get that?
What do you obtain that knowledge?
Looking within and looking through your family.
So once you acquire that knowledge, I'm back to my question: are you that first, or are you spiritual first?
For me, it helped me figure out what my path was going to be. Because I had to overcome a lot of things before I could truly call myself. Or so you asked me if I'm Christian. I'm not Christian either.
No, no, I didn't answer that. I said spiritual. Exactly. That's why I have to cater it to who I'm talking to, and that's why I asked you what
I'm trying to catch on. So growing up, I could say spiritual because of some of the things I was taught. Middle of my life, I was just trying to figure out who I was. Now, I'd say spiritual. However, I fight for equal rights for all.
Okay, that's good.
So classification and title is usually dependent on who I'm having to speak with.
Gotcha. That's good. That's good. We got Pete. We got Pete on the phone line, but Rico called in before you, so Rico, I'm gonna come to you first, and after that, I'm going to you, Pete. Rico, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Man, I cannot complain, man. Welcome and congratulations to everybody on receiving a new day.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Man, I gotta ask you the question, brother. Are you black first or are you spiritual first?
No, you asked was I Christian?
No, spiritual. Were you black first or are you spiritual first?
Spiritual.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's sort of totally different than in the religious category. So that really put me in a different place because I think spirituality comes before religion. So, you know, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back to how I figured, well, what I was when I first came into this world and started asking these questions of where we come from and how life got started. I had to come up with an order of importance, the most logical order of importance. So first, what I realized was that mankind didn't think human beings were equal. But when I came into this world, I looked at myself as just another human being trying to figure this thing out. Then I found out who my parents were. And then as I got a little bit older, I started noticing the difference between courtesy and subordination. When my granddad came across certain people, he was beyond respectful, but they didn't return it. Like the people that was the same color as him. Then I was playing with a little white kid and somebody made us stop playing. I didn't understand until they said, "Well, you playing with that little black boy. What's that?" That was a man-made design. But see, me, I don't conform to man-made designs. So what I figured from that day forward until this day, I am human first. That's the first order of importance. Then secondly, I'm a man. That's the second order of importance, whether you are a man or a woman. Everything after that is designed by man. Everything after that is man-made creations to categorize and classify people. And some people created this classification with uneven logic. They said they were smarter because of their brain size. Then they found out other courses or species had bigger brains. Wait a minute. Well, we smarter because of our cranium size or where we were from. They come up with all these different reasons why each race was smarter than the other one and which one was more primitive. Somebody designed that system. So now they got us considering whether we are black first. Well, then we discussing Africa. Well, guess who designed or guess who created this word Africa? Africa wasn't Africa first. As a matter of fact, we calling ourselves something that somebody else came up with, and Africans are too. If I'm mistaken, in the past, Africa was once called Ethiopia as a whole. But somebody else decided to come around and change the name. We're going to change the name. We're going to design what these is and what that is. So if you are lost in the sauce and been drinking up of the Kool-Aid and eating the sugar, you'll conform. I'm black, I'm African American, I'm African, I'm European, and you'll come up with all these different terminologies to classify yourself. When really and truly, you're human first, then man and woman second. Now you could throw the spirituality in now after the man and woman or before, because that is all natural. See, we have this natural order that we put on the back burner just for the designations of man-made created terms. And then we don't even respect those terms, because you got some people saying a woman ain't a woman, but they could transform into that same woman they saying ain't a woman because of the things that makes her a woman. Her estrogen, her vagina, her breast, none of that is what makes her a woman when she's born. What makes these people women and men now is what another man decides themselves that they want to be. Unnatural. So it's hard for me to conform to that ideology of am I black first? Am I Christian first? All that was man-made. What I am, that man didn't create, I'm a human first. And what man can determine was me being a man or a woman first. Then the third thing, or like I said, you can alternate second and third with being man and woman and being spiritual. But after that, everything programmed into this computer up in between my two shoulders, it came from a system that a man designed. That's the reason why Africans, quote unquote, live different than African Americans, quote unquote, due to the manipulation of some group of men.
Wow.
And everything after that is confusing based on how they designed it. Everything before that, they can't do nothing about it. But they trying to, because they trying to tell you what you are naturally born as. If you feel like you ain't that, that ain't you. You want to be a tomato plant? That's what you could be. You want to be a spider? You're a spider. We're gonna create whatever you want to be. We'll make your dreams come true. Dreams.
Wow.
But naturally, you are a man or a woman.
Good deal. Good deal. Man, this conversation, I'm loving this conversation, man, because it's deep and I love the direction that it's going in. But right now I gotta go to my brother Pete. Good morning, Pete. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, DKM Radio, Morning Glow, Friday, Black Conversation panel, listening audience. How y'all doing?
Hey, doing good. I gotta ask you the question, brother. Are you black first or are you Christian first or spiritual? Which one would you say?
Spiritual. Your spiritual beings having a physical experience.
Mm-hmm.
So you're spiritual first because you're a spiritual being.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can get off into whatever form of spirituality, belief system, structure that you so decide to align yourself with. But the fact of the matter is, we are spiritual beings walking around in a body, having a physical experience, but you're more spiritual than you are physical in your true existence. This is like your clothes you put on your body. Your body is to your spirit. The real you is spiritual.
Okay. So
and then I can't get off too deep, too more eloquently than Professor Rico just demonstrated because he just dropped the mic.
Yeah.
After that, it's just a lot of illusion and confusion, culture, traditions that reinforce to people who and what they are, but they're different in different regions and different areas with different groupings of people. And the human form comes with some twists. Some eyes are wide, some are small. Some hair is puffy, some hair is long and grows straight down. Some skin is a little lighter, some skin is a little darker. Some eyes are colored, some eyes are just brown. Come on.
That's good.
We get off into the massive confusion and illusion of nonsense, but culture is real. We do it this way. Down south, 30 years ago, Coca-Cola and crystals was the thing. You going in the south, you going to the Waffle House. Go by the Waffle House. You're gonna get you a Coca-Cola, cold drink, right? Gonna put on some sneakers.
Come on.
Up north, they like Pepsi. Right? They had White Castles, and they call them gym shoes. Same country, couple of 100 miles apart, talking about the same objects, totally different names. So culture is real, but culture it's been impeded, interceded on purpose to try to create an illusion of existing division. And that's just for individuals who wish to control. That's all that is.
Absolutely.
That's all. People have differences. You like greens, and I like a salad. I don't like vegetables. I like fruit. Well, I like to eat meat, red meat. Well, I like white meat. Come on, I eat pork more than anything. This is what you do. I eat more fish than anything. We don't eat none of that over here. I mean, you're surrounded by water. It makes sense. You're on an island. So,
wow, that's good. That's good. Tucson, talk to me, brother. What's on your heart?
We drink soda water in Appaloosa, Louisiana.
That's soda water.
soda water. If somebody, I'll say that to them someday, they'll say pop.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to make a motion that we elect Rico as pastor of GKM Radio and Media and Associates, and then we're going to get
man, we're gonna have a two parishioners, man. We're gonna have two people in the congregation. And that's
I'm joining.
Like you and one of my family members or some homeless dude.
I'm joining because
Hold on, I ain't homeless.
We was talking, Rico and Pete. We have to get you somewhere in that too. Y'all gonna sit side by side because and he said, and he made man, and they breathed in his nostrils, and they became a living soul. Right? Beyond that, what are you? So I don't have too much to say. They done said it. I mean, I don't know. My phone is. They really want to talk to me. They might have been broke down, so I'm gonna have to. Y'all have this conversation. I'll just shut it.
Good day. Goddess, what's on your heart? Goddess? While we're waiting on Goddess to get that mute button. Cassandra, talk to me, sis.
I I think I don't have anything else to add to the conversation. I think everyone has expressed themselves beautifully. It gives us a lot of different perspectives on, some people feel like we're spiritual. I was taking it from the point of view of how other people, when people see you, what do they see first? So, of course, for me, it would have been spiritual, but I'm always thinking like that how do people see you when they first see you? And when people first see us, the first thing they see is whatever shell we're in. Because there hasn't been a word spoken, so all they see is that shell that you're in. So, that's it for me.
That's good. That's good. Leonard, talk to
Okay,
me, brother.
I got
Oh,
my mute button.
okay, go ahead, goddess. She said, I found it. What's on your heart, sis?
Okay, what's on my heart basically is I got a question here. When you break down the word hue, man, is hue a range of colors? How is that? I always wondered that one.
Earth.
Leonard,
And then
go ahead,
and
goddess.
Relates to
okay,
the
let me.
earth.
Go ahead, goddess. Go ahead.
Then my next one is when you start studying foods and what foods your body is susceptible to, what you should be eating, because that's where I'm in the process of. And we're supposed to eat what basically some people eat according to their blood type. Some people eat according to where their culture is. Some people eat basically what is good, where their bodies and what's good for them. Um, I know what I have learned is that African Americans have not ate what we should be eating, or blacks, or however way you want to put it, that is better for us. So we don't really know our culture. For example, if you look up broccoli and cauliflower and all that, that 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 actual was not. That's not an actual something that grows up from the ground. A lot of people don't know you can grow it, but that's with a separate seed. So that's not something that actually grows up from the ground. This grows in the wild. And we are supposed to eat food that grows from the wild, that grows up, that's naturally done, not something that came from the Caucasus Mountain or that they modified. Because what that is modified food.
Okay.
And we eat a lot of modified food.
Let me get an answer to your question. Leonard, you want to respond to that?
I mean, it's an actual thing. People who want to eat a certain way eat a certain way. Some people, like vegetarians, choose to eat a certain way or what have you. Most people eat to survive. They eat to survive wherever they're at. Now, since you have all you want, you eat what you choose to eat because you like the way it tastes. Most people don't even eat considering nutritional value. They eat according to what they want to taste.
Yeah. Yeah.
So your concepts of diet may vary from culture to culture. So it's not that, like, say, for instance, you have some tribes who only eat what they grow if they're still living in an agricultural type setting, not as Western as some, or not as modern. They eat the same things that they've always eaten because they live off the land. That's part of their culture. There are some people here that still eat off the land. They eat what they catch, they eat what they grow. They love crawfish and things like that because they're so easy to get. They hang out in dirty ditches. You know what I'm saying? You can readily go get them. They're readily accessible. A lot of folks love hog where hogs are plentiful and wild. Some people say you shouldn't eat pork. The Nation of Islam does not approve of the eating of pork.
Absolutely.
But there's plenty of wild boar out here. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So it's up to eat. People choose what they want to eat based on their desire or what have you. Not everybody eats for nutritional value.
Exactly. Now, do you want to address? She said the hue the what does that mean? The color wise, what does that represent?
Hue relates more so to belonging or coming from the earth.
Mm-hmm.
So it's accepted in some places. You know, I've talked to people who believe that they from outer space. So, but human is from the earth of
Mm-hmm.
man or belonging to man in some type of way. But usually it's for the species, meaning from the earth. Hue, that hue part
Mm-hmm.
is part of another word that kind of means earth in certain languages, like
Mm-hmm.
humus and things of
Humus,
that nature.
humus, yes, Latin.
So
Hmm.
that's basically what it is. It's of earth,
Mm-hmm.
you know, of
Okay.
that type of thing, because we have to do understand there are some black people who believe they're from outer space.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Wow. Rico, what's on your heart, brother?
And that might sound surprising for some, but what don't nobody know if life was placed here because this place was suitable.
Mm-hmm.
Don't nobody know that. They might be telling the truth. Who are we to dismiss that?
Mm-hmm.
Y'all ain't seen God with your own eyes, Christians.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all
We
following the
know.
religious writings or something that somebody else said that they witnessed on top of a mountain. Something supernatural, spectacular, and miraculous. Ain't too much different than the same thing some people say they see in the sky when they see UFOs and aliens. But we're gonna leave that right there.
Mm-hmm.
I was glad Cassandra came in and then Pete came in right behind me, man, and that made me really put some things in order because when he said the spirit before being human, man, he struck a chord with me.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm gonna say is that everybody got a story to tell, man, and sometimes people don't say things to other people because they don't know how to relay that. But I can really identify with that being a spiritual conscience before you even a human.
Mm-hmm.
I can identify with that. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people that might fly over some people's heads. But it's some people that probably do understand what I'm talking about. And I think some of these people go and try to do past life regressions and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that gets a little deep too. But I do often I go along more with the spirit before the human, the conscience. And that has to exist because after this human form and this vessel dies, our spirit and our conscience is supposed to go to a higher level called
Yeah.
heaven.
Mm-hmm. It's supposed to
We still
continue.
supposed to exist in another form.
Mm-hmm.
That same form, 9 times out of 10, if that's the logic, that same form existed before we came into this vessel.
Yeah. Yeah.
That determined that we were human. So
Mm-hmm.
then Cassandra came back behind me. And it made me realize that I did leave something off because I meant to say this before I even got on. I am human first, man second. Then, according to the systems of mankind, greedy mankind at that, the systems that they created determined that I was black first, even
Mm-hmm.
before Christianity.
Wow.
Even before Christianity, because can't nobody look at you and your skin tone and tell what you worship, who you believe in, what book you read, or nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And when them people walked up in that Kmart that day in the toy section and told that little boy to stop playing with me, they didn't care that I was a good kid, that I
Mm-hmm.
was a human. But in their eyes, watch this, in their white supremacy racist eyes, somebody go get mad because I say that word again.
Mm-hmm.
In their white supremacy racist eyes, that's when I discovered, and they showed me that we human beings of a different color will call you what we think you are and judge you based on that and decide whether or not you are a worthy human being.
Mm-hmm.
We don't look at you as human first. We look at you as black first. Matter of fact, derived from monkey. Matter of fact, with tails. As a matter of fact, 3/5. Human primitive, the most primitive on the bottom of the scale of classification that we came up with. We just gonna make y'all ignorant just because.
508-924-3521, 508 924-3521. Phone lines are open. You're listening to the Morning Glow. This is Black Conversations. And we getting real deep this morning. We're getting real deep this morning. Cassandra, what's on your heart?
Yeah, no, I'm pretty much I think everyone has said pretty much what I feel about the whole identity thing, and I wish that we could see. There was a movie that came out years ago where it was like aliens or whatever, but this guy, he would put on glasses and you could see who the aliens were and who was human. Did anybody remember that years ago? And I wish that when we saw each other, quote unquote, we would see who the person is behind the frame, behind the color of the skin, behind anything. Just if we could just see who that person is beyond that, I think that we would have a much better world.
Okay.
But people are not going to do that.
No.
And it doesn't matter what we say. Y'all can say anything y'all want. We can go as deep as we want on this radio. There will always be people that when they see you, they are going to see the color of your skin. Always.
Exactly. And public citizen said the name of the movie, I think, is They Live. Is that correct? Is that
yes?
Okay, good deal.
Yes.
Good. Badger, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me.
Listening to the different perspectives, one of the things I was sitting here thinking about is how through colonizing, we all have most people have forgotten that they're indigenous to the planet Earth, even though our ancestors may be from different places. With me saying that, I feel that there are times where the fact of that knowledge being not taught commonly, it can take some people longer to realize that they are just as much of creation as anyone else is. So all these illusions and misdirections that society deals with, to me, just has caused so much confusion. And then the people using beautiful things for their own personal gain. I think it's hard for some people to answer a question like that, and they'll probably answer it, not all, but some, I feel, will answer it based on listening to other people just so they can fit in. But to the depth of the question that you're asking, like the depth of it, I always have a curiosity of how many people really get the depth of what you're asking.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
Because to me, asking a question like that, and weighing what someone answers, not judging, weighing, just to get a better understanding of the individual, can show their experiences. It can show where they're at currently. It can, a lot of different things. Because when you came to me, I was sitting here going, well, based on what someone would call me or say that I am, no, that's not what he's asking. He's asking what I feel. And
Exactly.
to me, I'm an indigenous human being. And the reason I'm saying it the way I'm saying it is because growing up, having white skin, being taught to be a closet Indian, because it was bad, it was wrong to be an Indian, was what I was taught. Which that word you're not even really supposed to use anymore. So it made me look at things in a different point of view as I grew up, of how much importance society puts on skin color and culture versus the importance of putting things from looking at things from a spiritual point of view.
Exactly. And that's part of what it is, because a lot of people just don't know. This question is tough for some people to answer. This question is real tough because they're fighting. They have an internal battle going on within themselves, and they really don't know. Pete, what's on your heart, brother?
Talk about the spiritual. We want to understand. We're not talking about religion. That's the main focal point. We're talking about the spirit in you.
Come on.
The spirit that is you. Your personality, your character traits. Some children are docile by nature. Some children are aggressive by nature. That's their spirit. We're talking about the spirit plane, the soul plane on that level. When we talk about your spirit being and then spirituality, then we'll come double back and you can include what your spiritual belief is spiritually. That's different. That's not what I meant when I said you're a spiritual being having a physical experience. Okay, number one. But then number two, we definitely want to emphasize the fact that it has been co-opted and used for a greater tool to accomplish objectives and goals that have been beneficial to a small few, and detrimental to a greater whole. The emphasis of the differences and clarifying and you this, you that, where, from, who, what, why. The differences should be celebrated just in the pure essence up under truth. We should celebrate differences. Oh, you do it that way? Oh, you eat that? Oh, you wear that? Oh, you do that for this reason? Now that's to be celebrated and appreciated. But we've been given an indoctrinated focal point to see it as offensive, assaultive, dangerous, something that we should denigrate and disrespect and shun. So the very culture, the dear brother gave an example of a more so melanated man raised up in more so Asian areas, and he has a cultural traditions of the Asian areas from whence he is raised more so and exposed to more so. But in his natural essence and view, he looks like a deeply melanated individual. So upon viewing him, encountering him, it's easy to, right away interpret that, he's one of them. But then when he conducts himself and portrays himself, it's like, hey, he don't act like them. He act like them folks over there, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, who gave us that variation in interpretation? Where'd that come from? I mean, it exists because it's real.
Exactly.
In its pure essence under truth. But then your level, how you interpret it, and then how you categorize it. Who set that? Who set that foundation in place and in motion, and then establish it as a standard for all to thereby exist?
Wow, that's good. That's good. And that's a heck of a question. Who? And if you're able to answer that question, you'll get to the root of a lot of these situations that we have in this day and time. Let me go to Tucson. We got Toya with a T. Toya with a T. I'm coming to you next. Tucson, what's on your heart, brother?
I tell you what, if I was going to do a comment, I'd have some guest speakers that would change the mindset, even of those that have been churchgoers for years and years and years. Because when you said something about Enrico came in on it may be a possibility. We didn't come from earth. I thought about the hope that's in the ones that love Christ. They want to go home because they're pilgrims passing through. Well, if you're pilgrims passing through, where did you come from?
Yeah.
Sure not earth. Your hope is that when he went away, and they say, why you gazing in the air? The same Jesus that you see going up in like manner, he shall return. Come from where? So the question may be, I don't know, in a sense of thinking. If you want to think narrow, then you may say I'm talking nonsense. But if you kind of broaden your thinking, are you a earthly entity?
Wow.
You kind of wonder. I'm just saying. I mean, where you going when you die?
Yeah.
You dead, you done? What? What are you hoping for? What are you praying for? What is your desire when you get sick and when you finally give up the ghost? What's going to happen then? And where will you live out eternity? So, no. Is there a washing? I'm just saying.
See, and there's so many unanswered questions. There's so many unanswered questions on Tucson. There's so many unanswered questions.
Yeah, because like Rico said, have you seen God? So that you can have that clear conversation with Him of who you really are. Because who you see me as is a figment of your imagination anyway.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to dictate that. You're trying to dictate who I am, what I am, where I'm coming from, and what I should do.
Yes, exactly.
You get mad because I like a pork sandwich.
A
chitlin
sandwich.
Oh, we shouldn't do that. Oh no, you abomination. And some say pop, and some say soda. And we talk about the same thing.
Exactly. Wow. Toya with a T. Good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. How you doing?
Hey, doing good, sis. I need to ask you the question, and this is where we started. Toya, are you black first or are you Christian first?
What? No, I'm human first. And see, again, here we go. That's the dominion of man. Honey, I'm a human. And then when y'all started breaking things down, these things to be classified and specified, then now I'm what they would call Christian by religion. But I don't even use that. I say I'm a child of God because I know it's wrong to separate these religions. I know we're not supposed to do that. I'm not going to keep going on with something that I know is wrong. I'm not supposed to separate because we're all God's children. Now, if you want to start having different beliefs, if you want to disown your father, I disown my family every day, honey. Every time they do something crazy, I'm like, oh, no, I was adopted. You can do that all you want to. But I'm a human being first. Now, if you get that misconstrued and you need more than that, are you blind? Because you don't need to be able to see to know what Christianity is. But I'm going to back this up again. I'm a child of God. So I don't do all that picking and flipping and flopping and all that religious stuff. I've learned how to listen to God. Because we get trapped up reading these Bibles like Donald said, oh, you're going to go to hell for some pork. But the Pope walking around here touching little boys. Where he going? Where he going?
Come on.
So now I don't get caught up into I'm being a Christian no more. I'm a child of God. I don't get caught up into being black. But if you want to classify me on a paycheck or, when it comes to these loans, right? I'm black. But you know who I operate under when it comes to the law? I operate under God's law. I don't pay these fools no attention with this American law. I don't pay. Oh, black people get a higher rate. Well, you know what? Let me tell you about my God. I don't know what you humans got for me, but my God got a way. Well, I can fall into the category on everything else that other black people do because you claiming to be black instead of be claiming who your father is. I'm royalty. I'm God's royalty at that. Now, what's up? As soon as you try to think that you're going to do something to me, because I instead of this classification, oh, you're black, you're not really a human being, oh, you don't get this, that, and third from these laws and these papers that these humans done created, I'm going to come on with that bet that my daddy gave me and just bust it on down. No. When you start clinging on to these worldly titles, then you get to operate under worldly law. And I don't want that. I operate under God's law.
Come on.
Whatever these humans talking about, what I can't have, what I can't do, what I can't be, what I can't see, what I can't show. All right, Lord, come on, let's go. I need you. You understand what I'm saying? So I done got into this deep thing with my God, with my Father, to know who I really am. And I don't. That's what y'all need to know who I am. That's what they need to know who I am.
So they can put you in a category.
I don't do that. I'm gonna talk about first.
Exactly. Good deal. So you preaching this morning, girl. Public citizen, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Well, good morning. I'm all right. Again, 3 hours earlier here, so I'm trying to get my thoughts together.
It's okay.
It was a great conversation, though. First, I wanted to address kind of one thing that Rico said about, some people get upset when you talk about white supremacy and all this stuff. I talk about that stuff all the time. I don't get upset. I just feel like sometimes these terms can, like, when you talk about whiteness and white supremacy, it can be dividing, and there's a place for it, but like personally, as a multiracial person, I don't identify with my races at all. That's like very low on my list. Like, human comes first. Some sort of spiritual identity, I guess. What am I trying to say? Trying to say that, there's a lot of about white supremacy. There are a lot of white people that do identify with their whiteness very, very closely, and it's very bad. It's very harmful, and I understand we need to call it out. We do need to call it out, but at the same time, what's the solution to that? I don't think the solution to that is to like demonize a group. I mean, definitely there's some demons in that group, but there's demons in every group. We don't walk around saying blackness. There's a problem with blackness. We need to address blackness. There's problems with black people. Nobody does that, at least not openly. I mean, people do it maybe behind closed doors. White supremacists do that behind closed doors. But like, if we're on a solution, a path to reconciliation and, having a better, more just world, I don't know what the solution is. I'm trying to figure it out. But I know for sure hatred is definitely not the path. And, I'm 100% with you and recognizing white supremacy and all of those bad parts of whiteness. But, I just feel like a lot of people are becoming like identitarians, like the way the Nazis were. I've met some black people that are like black identitarians, and they have that same level of hatred. I've met some of these people. And, the path they're on is just spreading hatred. And I'm not saying anyone on this show is like that. I'm just saying I've met people like that. And so I don't know. That's my identity first is I just try to be humble. I don't know. I believe in God. And I know we're all brothers and sisters, but that's as far as I can go. I don't know.
Rico?
Well, see, that's to me, that comes with conforming or being indoctrinated, like Pete said earlier, to the system that's designed. And the reason why you point out where the source came from is so that you can understand that it exists. And when you see it from now on, you can understand what that tool or that tactic is being used. Because sometimes people don't even understand when it's racism or when it's white supremacy or who started it. But see, the thing is, people hear what they want to hear because as human beings, we're going to get more attention from things that pertain to us. Like when I hear white supremacists say something about black people, I'm like, you're a damn lie. Listen to that dirty racist. Then sometimes I go to my community and I see exactly what they said. I be like, look at that. He told the truth. He told the truth. And then I get on here and I'll say, see, that's where I love Public Citizen, man, because he keep it so neutral in his comments. But see, obviously, sometimes he ain't hearing when I say, man, my community and my people, we got to do better. We do this, we do that, we do this, we do that. And I make some people mad that look just like me. They say I'm black bashing. Man, listen, I'm accused of hating other black men. I'm accused of hating black women.
and I'm accused of hating black people, white people. I hate everybody. I'm just mad. And guess what? I am mad because I know that we are out of water. I see videos right now of Russians coming up to black people, getting them bananas, calling them niggas and throwing snowballs at them. I see videos now of people in China coming up to black people, professional basketball players, nigga, woo, 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 throwing bananas at them. Then I see people in Africa on their homeland being treated once again like the colonizers first did it, because that is the system that exists. This is the way you do it with these black people, that mindset. Calling them all kind of disrespectful black things you could think of on their own continent. I don't even say country, they're on their own continent. So accountability and shame and all these emotions go along with having to accept responsibility for people that look like me, that acted and behaved a certain way. Even though it doesn't apply to me, I can understand the stereotypes. But we still have to pinpoint where that system or that mindset came from, and where it came from. Like Pete said earlier, it came from a group of people that wanted a goal or an agenda, and those people were white. The people that made alcohol a problem on the Native American reservations and bought the smallpox blankets and created a dog's roll that excludes them from rights that they deserve as natural-born Native Americans. Nobody else created that system. All these systems are created. The system of classification, created. And so we have to identify what tribe or culture of people this came from. You hear God has mentioned the Caucasus Mountains all the time. So we do a lot of reading and research. Go and research the Caucasus Mountains and these group of people that came from now and their mindset and beliefs. And then look at the world and the place that we're in now. So yeah, I am somewhat mad because when I came into this world of spirit form, and then I came into this body, and I started seeing human beings, I just seen human beings of different hues, but I still knew that we were all the same. And then I found out that I had to go out of my way and acknowledge something stupid. But if I didn't acknowledge it, I might get killed for not acknowledging it. I might die for being in the wrong place, for being naive and thinking that these people look at things the way that I do. And here I am, just young and naive, and I don't see no color. I could go to China and learn martial arts. I might get called out my name. I could go play basketball and make money, and I could get called out my name. But see, I guess those basketball players, they had a shock. They were caught off guard with that. They way over in other countries being called this stuff. Soldiers tell you they go to other countries and they get called these things by foreigners. They can't speak no English, but they know nickel, negro. Whatever they come as close to it as they can to let you know that you black. And so now you have to conform to a system in a country that exists that shouldn't exist. And so, yeah, we are out of order. I'm probably sound unhappy all the time because a lot of the things that we think is good and that we think we consider progressive, a good place to be in, we aren't in a good place to be in because we are forced to acknowledge color. That ain't nothing that I choose to do. That's something that I have to do to survive and to be able to maneuver in a world that has been manipulated by that system that was created out of ignorance. You smarter than me because of my skin color. You better than me. You got more integrity than me because of my skin color. Your hygiene is better. Come on.
Let me pull some more people into this conversation, man, because Rico, you put a lot out there right now. Let me see where am I gonna go next. Let's go to Leonard. Are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, what's on your heart, brother?
Nothing. I'm just listening because one, I expect a diverse range of ideas. Nothing. I mean, nothing really. I mean, if it's true, it's true. If it's not, it's not. How you internalize it is your business. I don't have to internalize things the way everyone else does. And I don't. That's real truth. I don't mean what you do with information is your business. How you feel is your business. I don't share a lot of grief over certain things that a lot of people do. But then again, I handle grief as a, part of what I do every day. So, I have to I am just a person that it is what it is. I don't try to make nothing more or less out of it. I'm not obsessing over much of anything. color, ethnicity, any of that. You know, I'm not in a constant struggle against certain things. I always fight against that which is evil, you know, and it is what it is. And I do understand a lot of young people want to think that they're just starting right now. Well, if that's what you want to believe, go ahead, start right now. Do something different. You know, racism
Wow.
is a problem. Racism is the problem, not white people. Racism is the problem. And if you happen to be white and you not racist, you can be part of the solution. So it's not that one. I know a certain people, whether how you feel is because you should feel that way. You should feel exactly the way you feel right now. If you're a white person listening to this conversation right now, you feel exactly like you should feel. But once you get more knowledge about it and truly seek to understand instead of being understood, you come closer to being a better human being. I don't care what color you are.
That's good. That's
If you
good.
don't know and you just now finding out, yeah, it's gonna be a little rough on you. But see, I was never indoctrinated. I ain't never believed what nobody said because I wasn't taught that way.
Exactly. Exactly. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. Phone lines are open. Tell us what you think about this situation. Curtis, I'm asking you. Good morning, Curtis. How you doing this morning?
Hey, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Hey, doing good, doing good. Kurt, question for you.
Well, man,
Are you black first or are you Christian first? Which one?
I don't. Wow. Um, I don't think you should really put one before the other. Personally, I just I don't believe that because before you was in any kind of physical form, you was in spirit form. So you wasn't black nor white. You wasn't Christian nor Muslim or Hindu or Buddhist. You was a spirit. So I mean, really think about it and perceive things for what they are. I wouldn't put for the other.
So neither one. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
I mean, if I think about if I think about it to that magnitude, then I could easily say that Christianity is a learned behavior, like Muslim is a learned way of life. Christianity is a learned way of life. Buddhism is a learned way of life. Hinduism is a learned way of life. Atheism is a learned way of life. Whatever the religious sanction is in your particular culture, group, and or sect, it's a learned way of life. So if I think about it like that, then the culture for which you're born in, most cultures are basically established by color. So then I can say, as a human being, I would be black first, or I would be what they call African American, which is a term that I'm really trying to take out of my lexicon because I've never enjoyed being considered the other. And I think to a greater magnitude, Public Citizen just brought something to the table that I think we never actually talk about in terms of racism. And because we never talk about it, we continuously give those who are racist the natural ability to deny their own racism. I've never heard an actual conversation discuss in greater detail what is whiteness? What is it? What does it look like? What is the characteristic of whiteness? The only time I ever even heard it touched on is in the autobiography of Malcolm X. I've never heard it actually discussed.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you do when you look at it from a cross cultural perspective, okay, well, what is whiteness? What does that look like? What does it feel like? What are the characteristics of whiteness? You do the same thing and say, well, what is blackness?
Mm-hmm.
What does it look like? What does it feel like? What are the characteristics of blackness?
Mm-hmm.
Then you take both sheets and put them on the table, and you'll look and see where racist ideologies have a tendency to creep in. Now, of course, most people do not openly say the things like Public Citizen said. He was right. Like, it's not openly discussed.
Mm-hmm. Good deal.
But
Mm-hmm.
just because it's not openly discussed does not mean that it's not prevalent.
Mm-hmm. Good. Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you gotta look at. Sometimes you gotta look at what is in the dark. Like I call it a dark methodology. When you look at in terms of, for example, housing and the ability to get housing,
Mm-hmm.
the modulation of credit.
Okay, Kurt. Now we turn a lot of corners, brother. Hold on for 1 second. Let me go back to Toya. Toya T, what's on your heart, sis?
You know, I wonder, like, the stories of someone like Nat Turner, right? But we could go back to the Bible days too. I bet you the people, or the white men, the white slave masters, that did terrible things to some black people. The ones that got killed by people in that revolt, I bet you that their family members are angry. And that's, in my mind, equivalent to how black people feel about the things that's happened to our ancestors. You know, to actually hear a story about my great-great-grandfather that I never met, that was taken from Barbados, made to come over here, have sex with his own sisters, nieces, and female family members, that bothers me. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't treat white people differently. I promise you I don't, because my father raised me. You treat people as you know them as individuals. But being honest, when I think about the story of what white people did to black people and what Germans did to Jews, develops a dislike on the inside, a sneakiness, like I can't stand them and I can't trust them, in the back of my head.
Mm-hmm.
In the back of my head. Right? Because it is a fact that what happened. Let's get a little deeper, right? So now in this day and time, we're going to flip it. People get sexually molested. Look at some of these modes.
Mm-hmm.
It's been touched by people in positions. They have to deal with them every day. The coach, look at that one coach, touch them all. Right? And I still got to deal with you. I'm still feeling some kind of way, even though I don't expose you or blow your head off right now. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I don't think we really take a second to acknowledge what we talk about when we talk about racism for black people from slavery. And the same thing for Jews. You know what I'm saying? And we still can develop an animosity with the Jews because they got paid. We can still go there, but it's not the point. When any human, I don't care who you are, let me tell you something. My heart is so terrible. So I know I can be hard, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to see the person that did something harm to me get the brakes beat off of them. Now, if I could beat the brakes off of them in the snap of an instant, then that's fine. But within my right mind, if I control myself, that's not, I don't feel like that should be done. You understand what I'm saying? Because if it was my nephew or my brother, I probably would still understand it, but I wouldn't want that to be done. So I don't understand, like, why we just can't acknowledge some of these wrongs. I wonder, do the Jews still have this issue with the Germans? They still got this spat going on, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
Because as humans, we just can't stand to be wrong. Listen, I can imagine how uncomfortable it would be to hear the flip side story that my grandfather was the one that went and torched down a whole city of innocent white people. that had nothing to do with slavery.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would see their kids and their great-great-grandkids and know that for facts, the whole world knows that my family slaughtered hundreds of infants, not slave masters, because some people could be like, oh, the slave masters, oh, yeah, that's why you got them. You see what you did to them? But no. I said innocent people. You know, you take dogs and enslave them and train them. As soon as the dogs know they're free, they run away. Don't you dare be mad.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand why it's like, you know, if I was to see someone that was hurt by a family member, I couldn't say nothing to them, but I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
However you feel, I gotta let you feel like that, man, because I'm sorry. It's nothing I can do. That was years ago, but the fact is that in papers and books of society, the whole world knows that my family brutally beat, burned, enslaved, raped. You understand what I'm saying? Chop heads off, chop penises off. Just looking at them, man. And I'm sorry, man. You kind of get like a kind of a free pass, but now you can't get no free pass because you can't. Humans, they do too much.
Mm-hmm.
But I just don't see why. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it just can't be like, you know what? Hey, I ain't got nothing to say. No excuses, man. Like for real.
Exactly. Goddess, what's on your heart?
One thing I did want to just, I think this is such a great conversation, and I believe when what's his name said about the white person, then Dr. Jane Elliott, I think it was Curtis, when he said about the white person, Rico did remind me of, and I remember always watching about this, but Dr. Jane Elliott has addressed it and held white supremacy accountable. It defined it all along with examples and studies. And she did an excellent job at it. She did a real excellent job at it. And then I was watching, probably flipping through my phone, and I couldn't realize the reason why I liked the Golden Girls. And when I go back and do replays, there was a replay with Blanche had put a flag up, the I can't, what's that Southern flag, had placed that
Confederate flag. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Had placed that Southern flag up, and you know they and it was the black guy who was all their friends and stuff, and she was talking about he was like, why are you putting that flag up and you invite me to this party, or you invite me? And then I have the same issue with my friends that I ride motorcycles with, because we would end up with bars with that flag up, and I'm knowing this lady got black kids, so they was like, oh, it's a sense of pride. I was like, but no, it's not nothing prideful, you know. And he basically brought it out. He basically brought it out with Blanche, and then Blanche was like, oh, when I think of that flag, I think of dressing up. I think of all my friends in ball dancing, and I think of all the positive. And he was like, well, when I think of that flag, he basically told her, and she was like, well, that's not, all my friends are from this. And then she finally realized, oh, well, the truth is that flag is a negative connotation to humans, period.
Okay, I have a question.
Go ahead.
This is one topic we kind of touched on it yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm just going to use me as an example. So I can't fly the rebel flag because I accept the fact that people used it to also represent slavery. I accept that fact, and I hate that fact. But I also know about all of the taxation and all of the things the government was doing to Southern people back then. Are you with me so far?
Go ahead.
But you sit there and fly the American flag.
Mm-hmm.
The flag that was used to genocide Native Americans. The flag that was used to bring slaves from Africa to America to be slaves to begin with. So I can't fly what I feel is prideful and people can dictate what I am allowed to do in a country of freedom because of how I feel or believe. So I have to respect you, but if I ask you to take down that American flag, you're going to attack me on sight.
No, not me, Badger, because I'm with
No,
you on the
I
same
meant that
thing about the
generally.
American flag. And actually, with my American flag, Badger, you can go through my webpage. You already know.
I was okay.
Okay,
When I
hold on.
said you, I was
I got
not attacking you. I was speaking general.
Right, I know
hold
you
on,
was. I just had
hold
to.
on.
I had to
Got it.
bring that up to
Got
you.
it. Okay, guys, hold on. I gotta pull some more people into the conversation. Y'all hold on for a second. Let me go to Cassandra. Cassandra, what's on your heart? Public citizen coming to you next. Then we're gonna hit on Brother Pete. Cassandra.
Yeah. I don't. Where are we now? Because
Well, I thought you
yeah.
wanted to comment about the different flags.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm from South Carolina, and I have lots of issues with the Confederate flag.
Mm-hmm.
I have lots of issues with the statues of people that push racist agenda. And that's just personal. That ain't got to do with nobody else.
Mm-hmm.
That's just personal.
Mm-hmm.
I take issue with anything that reminds a people of oppression, slavery, any of that. That's just me. It ain't got nothing to do with nobody else.
Mm-hmm.
That's just me. So we'll see. We'll see.
Okay. Good deal. Good deal. Public citizen.
Okay, yeah, I'm with Cassandra. I'm against the statues and the flag and everything, and yeah, no, those don't have any place in public square.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, I want to talk about one thing that Kurt brought up about white. He wanted to discuss what is whiteness, what's defined with blackness, etc. One thing about whiteness is that I learned as mixed race is if you're white, it's a luxury. You have the luxury of not to think about race. You have the luxury of not to wonder if somebody mistreated you. Was it because of my race, or was it because of some other reason? Right? That's a luxury in life. So if you have that going for you, look, think about it. It frees up some mental capacity. Look, I think in some contexts people see me as white. Other contexts they don't. They think, well, I don't know what the hell this guy is. Excuse my language. But I've kind of felt both sides of that. And in recent years, I've just seen the racial animosity grow. So so that's part of whiteness is just having that luxury. And then so what Toya was talking about, there's so much trauma, and the history is so horrible. And that's why sometimes I get emotional talking about this stuff, because I feel it, and I know it's so horrible. And people do the country owes reparations. It does. There's no question about that. We're just far from that politically right now.
Mm-hmm.
We had Donald Trump as president. What does that tell you about this country? Come on, give me a break. This country is in a bad situation.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I say, like, I'm tolerant of all different points of view, but I just as terms of like these traumatic events and stuff, they've done research on this. People that talk and think about traumatic events, it's like you're reliving it, and it does stuff to your brain. It's bad for us. It is. This is science. They've proven. If you think about your traumatic events a lot, it's bad for your brain. It's bad for your body. It causes disease and all kinds of stuff. So I don't know what the balance is. There has to be a balance between the real history and living your life free from trauma.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what that is.
So we might have to stop remembering the Holocaust, or when they say never forget 9/11, just forget it, even though it was a lie anyway. We should stop honoring 9/11 victims.
Yeah,
I mean that's traumatic too.
No,
I'm not disagreeing, but I'm just trying to get you to understand what you're saying. that when you say that when we relive this trauma, well, we've been programmed to always keep honoring the memorials of Pearl Harbor, John F. Kennedy, you know what I'm saying, Martin Luther King Jr., 9/11. We are programmed to honor these savage and terrible instances in history. So, you know, now all of a sudden, even with the Holocaust, but white Americans still have this thing like, well, enough is enough. Never forget, though. What about never forget? So when it comes to this, now all of a sudden, trauma is bad on the brain and we relive it. Well, we might be tired of reliving 9/11. We might be tired of hearing about the Holocaust. I wasn't around back then. I ain't got nothing against Germans. I didn't see what they did back then, but now that I know history and I go back and look at it, that was some nasty stuff. Like Toya said, make you look at people sideways, because where we are today is because of what happened back then. And it's traumatic, it's terrible. But see, this thing called shame and denial makes people feel better to not have to address certain things, you know. But guess what? We have to just accept the truth, because this is what has us in the place of disorder that we're in. We don't know what to forget or what not to forget. We don't know who has a right to say, always keep saying, look how y'all doing us. But for some reason, we supposed to just stop thinking about it and talking about it, because white people getting traumatized and they tired of it. But see, I look at it like this. See, people like Dr. Jane Elliott, I think, man, if people, this is what white people need to do when they start feeling that way. They need to go look at her videos, because she knows that is all subconscious shame. But you have to understand this subconscious programming that has existed. That doll study that she did, that the impact of white supremacy even had black children thinking black dolls were bad, ugly, and evil. They picked the white doll over the black doll, but the black doll didn't do nothing but sit on the shelf with the white doll. But they felt like it was better to have that white doll, because that white doll was their favor and entitlement. You said it yourself a second ago, that entitlement and privilege. Where did that come from? It's out of order. We exist in it, and we still functioning in this order to this point right now. So what white people have to do is like Dr. Jane. It was wrong. I didn't do it. It didn't happen in my era, but it has an impacted society today, and it has to be addressed. And that's how you correct it, because you can't correct it if you don't even know it's there. If you don't know you subconsciously favor white over black. Even black people don't even realize, man, why did I choose that white dog? What? Look, when I came up, why did I like white women over black women? Why did I like Farrah Fawcett and Linda Carter? Why did I like them? And then I started putting two together, because that was all I saw. That was what society said was beautiful. Bo Derek on the beach with braids. Foxy Brown, bad. Bo Derek. Then I had to find out, man, that programming that started from way back then, that still exists to this day, that tells you this is who you want to be like. This is who's great. This is who has honor. This is who has integrity. So, you know, we have to accept accountability for the way the situation is and what caused it to be this way, to where we even have to acknowledge blackness, whiteness, Asian, and this and that.
The dip. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. We'd love to have your comment. And the conversation is getting a little good and good. Toya, how much more time you got with us?
I'm with you.
Okay. Leonard, what's on your heart, brother?
I wanted to comment on public citizen. And this is what makes public citizen so valuable. Because he's both. He's both. He's interracial. This is why they never wanted that to happen. Because he can't hate one. He could choose to hate one and love the other, it sounds like. But he chooses to do what his heart believes is right. And this is why you never was supposed to mix. This was the threat of mixed race people. Because the mixed race people most likely will not hold the same type of feelings as their parents. Because true enough, some people's parents were courageous by choosing to mix with one another. That's why I love Trevor Noah, because he brings a whole different perspective to the conversation. If you go and you research scholarly writings on race, this is where you will find information of great value. That's what makes Jane Elliott, excuse me, so appealing to people. But if you go look at the research, you'll find there are several Jane Elliots. She's just the one that is actually putting information out. There's another white guy, he writes books as well. There's several of them. But when you study racism in the context of really wanting to understand, it's a whole different pursuit than just want to prove that you're better than somebody else, or prove that somebody else was telling a lie, or prove that you're somehow more intelligent. That's not what it's about. It's about seeking the truth of the matter. How you feel belongs to you, not the entire diaspora. It simply doesn't. It doesn't stand up that long. It disintegrates. So what you do is you move towards that which is more general. Like you say, before you make a generalization based on research, you got to do some experiments. You got to ask a certain amount of people, and where you can even speak within 95% accuracy in what you actually saying. How accurate are you? Well, there's a certain criteria in research. Does this fit? Does what you say fit 98% of the time? Is it true? What happens is some people come, my truth, my truth. That's just a way of helping you lie to yourself. Because what may be true to you may be the biggest lie in the world to everybody else. And if you're not conscious of that fact, you're going down the wrong path.
Exactly.
So you know, when we get into these conversations, I love to hear interracial people speak, because they bring forth purity of the matter, because they belong to both. And so
Leonard,
y'all are
thank you
coming
for
there
saying what
hating
you're saying,
and
man.
say, no, you got to be black or you got to be white. That's not true. Oh, you got some black people tell you ain't black enough. There are some white people ostracized because they don't believe the way they friends believe. Now, I understand Badger's point of view, but where I come in, I tell Badger, you're just learning to be upset. You're just learning to be upset. Recently, this fight been going on for hundreds of years. Hundreds of years. Now, you may care to forget, but you'll sit back and you'll say, well, guess what? They are still trying individuals that participated in the Holocaust when they can find them. They're still looking to prosecute those individuals. Very few survivors still left, but there are people that are survived that were doing these horrible things. Just like in the reconciliation conferences in Africa and the genocide that occurred in Africa, there are black people that look like what you Americans call black, but they have issues because that guy was raping and killing their family members during the war. And now they're seeking to try to rebuild their country. And they have to sit next to and live amongst these people that did these things.
Wow.
So I understand the plight of the young white person trying to say, hey, let's look at, it's hard for them just as much as it is for you to disconnect themselves from where they came from. And the shocking thing about it is every picture ain't a great picture.
Absolutely. One of the things that and I do this all the time. I like to deal with both sides of the coins. And you said that public citizen, we're gonna use public citizen because that's where you went with it. He could speak from both sides. That's absolutely it's absolutely true. He can, but there will be some people that will say, you're dealing with his truth. Not everybody that's in that that's in the situation that he's in, mixed race, if you will, would have the same perspective that he have.
Well,
And so
some of them don't.
it's based on each
But we need to
person's.
stop calling it truth.
Yeah, well, and that's my point. We have to deal with it from their experiences and what they've experienced and what they've gone through. Rico, I think you had a question for our public citizen.
Yeah, I was wondering, because we was talking about what comes first. We was talking about, are you human first, or are you spiritual first, Christian first, and we sort of brought it down to how this system of classification exists, and it trickled to the point of me bringing out the fact that that system of classification and order was designed, and Pete reinforced it, and so now we to this point. So him being a mixed race, I want to ask first off, how was his reception, acceptance received by him? Who made it easier for him to be received in family and in public, general life? How has his reception been between white people and black people? That means good and bad. And then the second question is does he feel he relates to one side more? Does he feel he's white first or black first, or does he just look at it as like I'm a human?
Public citizen.
Okay. Yeah, good questions. Well, my dad was a Mexican American. He was mixed with black, but I mean he was like a dark Mexican guy. My mom is European, whatever mixture. Growing up, didn't live around a lot of black people, more Hispanics. And from my experience, the Hispanics were judged me harsher. Like they didn't think I was, Mexican enough. Like I was too white or whatever. So I think I got worse treatment from them. The white kids, when I was growing up, were more, just like, oh, you're just like a slightly darker white guy or whatever. So that was I think that answers the first one. The second one was, what was the second question? What do I identify as? How do I identify?
Do you feel like you identify with one more than the other, or are you just looking at yourself as human?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've had to go through a lot of deep thinking and conversations and stuff to get to kind of where I am now. It's like, remember when Obama was elected? Everyone's like, we're in a post-racial America. We don't talk about race anymore. And everyone's like, what? Are you crazy? People are still like, they're talking about race more than ever. And they did like that. As soon as you get a black guy in charge, all the white supremacists lose their mind, right? That's when all of the racism got so much worse. But like, I'm comparing myself to that in the sense that like, I try to be as, post-racial as possible. I mean, culturally, honestly, I don't really relate that well to a lot of the Hispanic cultures. You can find any culture, and I could say, well, there's this bad stuff about them, there's this good stuff about them. But like, I don't really relate to the white culture either, though. So that's I find a lot of fault with the white culture too. So that's why I just try to be colorblind, and we're not there. We're definitely not there, but that's where I think we're going to get there at some point. I don't know when, maybe 100 years, who knows? But it requires people to change, and a lot of people don't want to change.
Yeah.
Like Leonard said, like my parents, when they had me, it took some kind of bravery, some kind of courage to like, oh, well, that's somebody of a different background. A lot of people don't want to go there, and you can't force them. It just takes time.
Exactly. It is now 9:36. There's so many different layers that we could go dealing with this right here, but I want to change up for a few minutes and lighten it up a little bit. I like to have a little fun on Fridays before we get out of here. So I'm gonna give everybody an opportunity to go around and ask somebody else a question. And that question is, what would you do if? What would you do if? Now we're gonna jump around. We're not gonna try to ask the same person question. Everybody's gonna ask somebody something different. Rico, I'm gonna start off with you, brother. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, watch this. You riding in the car. You riding in the back seat of the car. Okay. And you and your friends are going somewhere. All right. Now, your window is rolled down. Your window is rolled down, and it's hot outside. To you it's hot, so you roll your window down. Now, as you're riding down the road, y'all talking, y'all having a good time. The friend that's in the front seat on your side rolled the window down, and no bad intention, he spit out the window. But that it comes back in the window because of the current. It comes back in, and it gets on you. What do you do?
Man, that was an accident. I let him know what he did, and I tell him next time, man, let me know the next time you just spit that ass in my face. Came back in here, I'm gonna say some cuss words. I'm gonna be hot. And be honest with you, the alpha male in me is gonna have to make me not react first, because sometimes some things happen. The first thing you're gonna think of is spit in my face.
Yeah.
And if you ain't careful, somebody might just haul up and punch you first. Pow, what you hit me for? Man, that S came back in my face. But you have to have some type of logic and be able to say, well, man, he didn't mean to do that.
Now, would you be able to have that logic in the moment?
I could, okay. But I know that it would be a quick moment that I would have to catch myself from not reacting. See, that's the thing is being able to not react, because you have to look at the situation as was it intentional or not.
Okay, got you.
Sometimes we are trying to react immediately on stuff. The minute somebody hits you, you hit them back. And getting spitting in the face is almost like being hit.
Yes, sir.
But now you got to discern. Well, what if it's a mistake? Do I hit them? And so when you've been trained to understand, well, hey, when it's a mistake, you don't respond like that. Then you automatically know that was a mistake. Don't respond like that, boy. You like to lost it then, but he ain't mean to do it. So I mean, that's just gonna be that quick program, and after a while, that computer responds so fast that all those things are gonna come to you within a millisecond, and you're gonna automatically say, "No problem, man. Roll your window up." Still might cuss though.
Yeah.
That way, you definitely roll that window up, because I'm letting you know I'm cussing, because this S just got in my face.
Yeah. Exactly.
Came back on me.
Now, I'm gonna let you pick somebody who you want to ask, or what would you do if question, and then Toussaint, you up next, brother. You can pick who you want to pick and ask that question. What would you do if? Go ahead, Rico. Who you pick? Unmute yourself.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and ask Donald, since he got to answer this question, man.
Okay, Toussaint, you there? Toussaint, you there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Donald.
Rico, he said, I gotta brace myself.
What would you do if one of your sons came back home visiting you from being on their tour in the Navy, and they walked back up out of there with your Spider-Man suit?
I said, boy, you got it. You're a man. That was easy. I said, boy, you got it. You gotta play act. Sometimes you got to be somebody else.
Yes, sir.
Because see, they be watching dudes around the corner. They just don't tell you.
Exactly.
And the best thing that we can do is be a superhero, man.
Wow. That's good.
You
That's
did
good.
it wrong, Rico.
Toussaint, who do you pick, man? Who you want to ask? What would you do if?
Oh, man.
I'm surprised he didn't say Cassandra. Yeah, I figured. I knew it. Yeah, she's here. Cassandra.
Why did I know he was going to call me? I was like, he was about to call my name.
I saved Cassandra for Donald. Let me go to Donald, because I know he's going to call Cassandra.
Exactly. Because Cassandra, Donald got a question for you. What would you do if? Go ahead, Toussaint.
Okay, wait a minute. Let me see how I'm going to do this.
Oh, Lord. Jesus.
Oh, God. I'm trying to see how to answer. What What would you? What would you
Oh
do?
Lord, this cannot be good.
No,
This
no,
cannot
no.
be good.
No.
I'm trying to do it actually right. Because I didn't know how you answered the door clearly. When
Mm-hmm. Come on.
Oh, this is okay.
Come on, Tucson. Come on.
okay. What would you do? Remember when you answered the door, you thought it was just your husband and your husband came?
Yes,
What
I knew
would
you
be
were
your
going to do
reaction if it was when you answered the door? It would have been Bishop.
Bishop?
Good Lord.
Well, any man, I would have slammed the door and screamed. It doesn't matter who it was, because I mean that was strictly for my husband.
Yeah.
I was doing that, strictly as a
Mm-hmm.
for him.
Would you? Let me ask you a question because I'm just curious. Is the two?
Okay.
I'm sorry, I had two questions. Would you do it again?
Yes, I would.
Mm-hmm.
I'd do it again. Yeah. I mean, because I just believe that there are some things that keep a marriage lively, and I tell women all the time. I always tell women, make sure that you keep your marriage lively. Make sure that you do little surprises, things that he doesn't expect. Wear something he don't expect. Do something in the bedroom he doesn't expect. And I live by that. I live by what I tell other people. So yeah, I'd do it again.
Good deal. Cassandra, who do you select? And you have to ask them the question, what would you do if? Who you pick?
Toya
with a T. I knew you. Toya, you there? Yep. Toya with a T, you there?
What would
This is where I should be acting like I'm mute. Like, where you come from?
No, this one is really going to be easy for you, I think. What would you do if you meet a guy and you feel like this is the one? Something in you tells you this is the one. What would you do? Maybe he doesn't. Yeah. I mean, you feel it. You know, this is something, God. You telling me this is my guy. What would you do?
Well, see, I don't know. It depends, because he might be cockeyed or chip tooth. I'm like, Lord, now hold on, now now this one. I mean, it depends. You know what I'm saying? It depends. Now, let's just say he perfect, because you know how God do, right? He ain't gonna be funny with me. He's gonna be perfect. I'm telling you, I don't know, right? Because I'm still in this role where I'm still learning how to be obedient to God. You feel what I'm saying? And I'm simple. You see how we are with white people, right? I'm kind of that way with men. You know what I'm saying? Like, in the back of my head, man. You know what I'm saying? I got some extra weight. You got to keep in mind I was lifted. You know what I'm saying? So in the back of my mind, it's a whole bunch of things that's like, I don't even know. You know what I'm saying? I know what the feeling is, but I don't know how to act. So my prayer is that, when God gets me, humbling me, you know what I'm saying, and he make me right. I guess that dream woman would be that Claire Huxtable type. You know what I'm saying? If I had a vision on what I feel like it should be like, it should be that firm, strong Claire Huxtable type, smart, educated, and I'm about business, and I can take out a little bit of hood. You know what I'm saying? I can be a little more, all right, baby. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, God gonna know who's right.
Yeah.
Because I'm a damn strong woman. Excuse my language. You know what I'm saying? And in order for someone to so-called come and lead me, he's gonna have to be a damn strong man. Excuse language. You know what I'm saying? And he really, you know what I'm saying? God gonna really have to work on him, because I don't know how. Because right now I feel like I'm very rough around the edges, and I really need to change that, because I'm not a man. I'm a female, and I need to work on being, female-ish. But I'm learning.
Good deal. Toya with a T. I'm gonna let you ask your question, but then we're gonna send your behind right over there in that corner. We're gonna send you right over there in that corner. Don't worry, because Cassandra's over there already. She already over there, so you'll have somebody to talk to. But Toya, who do you pick? Who do you want to ask? What would you do if?
Look, you know I'm cunning. I got something for all y'all.
You can't ask everybody now,
What
Toya.
would y'all do if Trump won the next election? Yep, mumbling and grumbling going on. What would you do?
I'm gonna do like he did when he won the last one.
What would you do if that happened, y'all? Like, listen now, this man said in the early, what was that, 80s, that he could shoot somebody in the middle of the street. And American people are so stupid they would still vote for him, and we still voted him in.
I would
So what would y'all do if that happened in this next one?
I would ask how in the world did somebody that's incarcerated become the president of the United States of America, because that's what he need to be, incarcerated. you know, how do we get? He's supposed to be locked up. How in the world he the president?
Wait a minute. I would open up me another company, because boy, did he give money to his boys. So I'll give me probably about 3 more companies. And I joined that bandwagon on that money train, baby.
Wow. Let me go to since Toya asked everybody, I'm gonna pick somebody. Pete, you there? Brother Pete, you there?
I'm here.
Okay.
With the mute.
Pick you somebody and ask them, what would you do if? Who you want to pick?
Let's go with Lynn Swan.
There you go. Leonard, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Pete, want to ask you a question. What would you do if? Go ahead, Pete.
What would you do if we elected you governor?
Oh, Lord.
I'm out.
Well, I would definitely set the record straight as it relates to judicial misconduct. That would be my first thing I would address, is injustice. I would go after it like an attack dog. And I like Stacey Abrams. Of course, I would vote that way, but I would be far more aggressive in my pursuit of making sure that at least Georgia had an equal justice system.
Wow, that's good. That's good, Leonard.
Yeah.
Your opportunity, brother. Pick somebody and ask them the question. What would you do if? And let me tell you who we got. We got quite a few people on the phone line. Got Toussaint, got Toya, got Pete, Curtis on the phone line, and Cassandra. And you see everybody that's actually on the screen here. Mm-hmm. So pick someone.
Well, Rico stepped away.
No, Rico, you still there? Yeah, he said I'll be right back. Yeah,
okay.
He did.
I'll go to.
There you go.
I just got back. I had to clear my chest, clear my throat, man. You know, I got this little congestion going on, so I keep getting up, going to clear my sinuses and stuff.
Would you prefer a segregated society?
Oh, that's a good question, man. Wow, that's a good question. Cause to be honest, man, I'm like back and forth on that sometimes. Man, that was a good question. You had to get serious, didn't you?
If you make it serious, you know.
Man, Leonard about it back to something that's real. I mean, it could be silly or serious, but the real and truly, that's a serious.
I'm gonna grab a water. Y'all go ahead. I'm gonna grab a water.
It's a good question, man. Nah, man, I wouldn't want a segregated society. Now, I might sound like I'm being a hypocrite because I might have said before that I do prefer that. I think I want some things to be segregated. Or maybe some of the things that we participate in, even myself, to be sort of toned down a little bit. You know, the word was right down the tip of my tongue, man. Sort of moderated, you know, doing things in moderation. I think integration was an awesome thing, but in the process of being integrated, we picked up a lot of bad habits and bad ideologies, and it made us lose a lot of not only our soul, but just our integrity or our responsibility on what was most important for a community or a family. So being a child from the 70s, I wasn't in segregation. I caught the after effects of segregation. You know what I'm saying? My parents were like the first generation of that integration group, and I saw the huge difference in how they carried themselves compared to my grandparents. And from that point forward, even my great grandparents, I knew my great grandfather. That was such an honor. I know a lot of other people great grandparents, and so seeing that culture that existed then compared to now, I think we should have just sort of been a little bit more moderate on what we wanted when we came into integration, or what we desired to have, and been more focused than to just grab onto the recreational things that we did.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. Let me go right now to Curtis. Curtis, are you there?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Okay, Curtis, pick who you want and ask them the question. What would you do if? Who do you select?
Is Badger still on the phone?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll go with that.
Okay, go ahead. Badger Curtis has a question for you. What would you do if? Curtis?
What would you do if you had the power to completely alter the American experiment? What would you do different?
Take religion out of the government.
That's it?
Why?
Separated.
Why?
Because my history and my ancestors have had religion used by government people to belittle us, keep us from praying the way that we've prayed for thousands of years. It's been used to say that slavery was okay and acceptable. It was used to pretty much degrade anyone that was anti-government because they were of the devil. The whole principle of what it was, it was supposed. It says that religion is not supposed to be an influence in our government policies. But when you look at things like abortion, gay marriages, practicing a different belief, they had to end up making a law saying it was okay to have a different religion or a different belief because of how people were being treated because of the initial laws and how religion influenced all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, however, it also goes back, if religion wasn't in the government, what would they have used in place to do what they were doing then to begin with?
Mm-hmm.
So if it's not religion, then it would be greed.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Good deal. Good deal. Badger, you have the floor, brother. Pick somebody who you want to ask. What would you do if?
Who hasn't been asked yet?
Doesn't matter. You can pick. Everybody pretty much been asked. So you can go back and pick somebody else. Who would you like?
I haven't been asked.
All right, I'll go to Goddess.
Okay. What would you do if?
What would you do if you had the choice to separate people based on how they choose to live?
Say that one more time. Say that one more time.
If you were given the ability to choose how people that live differently, where they could live, what would you do?
Okay, differently how? Like, Lord, by differently. Can you
If
explain to
they
me?
want to be Nazis, if they want to be racist, if they want to be follow a Native American path, if they want to be Judaism, monks, like just different beliefs, different mentalities, murderers, all that stuff.
I think they should live within their own community and not be allowed to. If that's their choice, I don't know. That's a hard one, Badger, especially for me. But I think that if that's your choice of what you want to live, like you got the certain people that live certain ways where they want to live within their own community. I think that will be something that they should do, live in their own community,
Mm-hmm.
and not be allowed to go out because depending on the severity of it. Uh, and if they did, and they committed certain crimes, like the murderers, everybody that's a murderer today doesn't mean that they're murderers. You got a lot of people that have been charged as being murderers that basically were wrongfully, convicted, but they
Mm-hmm.
still got a murderer on their record. I mean, until that record gets expunged or clemency or something that's taken. I mean, so that's kind of a hard issue, but if we know that for sure that there are murderers, it's not a self-defense situation, but they just going around being serial killers and stuff like that, then I think you should be placed on the island, and everybody know that that's a murder island right there. Don't go to that island. That's a murder island. Let's leave that island alone. But then where's
Mm-hmm.
reform? What if those people decided that, hey, I want to change? So I don't know. I know murderers. I know killers. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I know a little bit of everybody, and I've learned from everybody. So I don't know.
Good
Uh,
deal. Good deal. Now, God, is your time to pick someone, and you to ask the question: what would you do if we got a few more minutes? I'm gonna take it over just a few more minutes. I want to be able to touch this here, and I'm gonna go to probably one or two more people. But God, what do you say to that? Who are you going to select? And you have to ask them a question: what would you do if?
Raheem,
Yes.
I'm picking you.
I'm the question asker. I'm the question asker, man.
You're right.
Lord.
Now you're gonna be the question answer.
Okay, go ahead. Ask your question. Ask your question. I answer, but ask your question.
What would you do if you realize you took that vaccine and you realize the fact that it is does more harm to your body and gives HIV in the long run?
Good Lord. Good Lord.
Pass it around.
Um, for one, I think I would become how you said the abstinent. I would become abstinent because I wouldn't want to infect anyone with the trauma that's in my body. In regards to what would I do? Honestly speaking, there's not a whole lot. If I made the selection and I got the vaccine and it's doing that, there's no way to turn it around. I would be stuck in that situation. There's not a whole lot really I could do. Pray and hope that God spares my life as long as he's going to spare my life. But outside of that, I would just be trapped. I'll be trapped. I'll be trapped in that reality. I'll be trapped in that reality, and yeah, that's a good question. Good question. Rico, I think you wanted to ask Curtis, or what would you do if?
Yeah, man, because Curtis, he ain't answered now yet. So I got a good one for Curtis. We all know the impact that Nino Brown and Scarface and Luke
Hold on, Curtis,
Skywalker.
Curtis, are you there?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
We all know the impact that these characters and figures have on society, right? We glorify Scarface right now, and he's not a real person, but you got posters of him. So I'm gonna ask Curtis, being that he's an actor and entertainer, what would he do if he was offered a role in a mainstream movie of a character that he knew would be glorified in the community for negative reasons and did things that he really didn't stand for?
Millions of dollars, Curtis. Millions of dollars.
20 million.
Rico, you just asked the question that determines whether a person is an actor or actress, or if they're pretending to be an actor or an actress. Basically, either they're acting or they're acting. First thing I would do is I would want to know, why does this person have the mindset that they have? I would want to know backstory, and I would want to know if I was allowed to create a backstory. Because, well, Scarface kind of touched it, but didn't touch it, right? Scarface, out of all of those movies that you named, what actually made it so great is they alluded to the fact as to why Tony Montana thought the way they thought. They alluded to the fact that he really could not stand Castro. They alluded to the fact that he came from a God that really treated poor folk unfairly. So you got to see his disdain throughout the film, his disdain for the wealth, although he had a constant drive to have more and be wealthy. A lot of the other films, they imply it, but they don't lean on it heavily. Why that is. But that would be, if I was to answer your question openly and honestly and truthfully, that would be the first thing to do. Is I want to know guy thinks the way that he thinks. I want to know that as to what happened to him, so that then I can bring that.
Somebody mute your phone. We got some background coming from somebody's line. Mute your line. Mute your line, somebody. Go ahead, Kurt.
It's kind of like when you seen Training Day, and the first thing we thought was, oh man, Denzel, man, oh God, he's just a horrible cop. We never got the chance to really see, well, what is it that happened? Was it his partner getting set up and murdered? We never got the chance to see what it is that flipped this man and made this man like, you know what? I'm going all in. This is what it is. So I would try, I would look for that and then try and bring that directly to the visual eye so that you can see that I'm battling. Like there's an internal battle that I got going on, although I'm standing here looking like I'm cool with all of this. I'm
Good
not.
deal. Good.
Answered your question.
Good. Now, Kurt. I was going to go there. So basically, in you doing all that and saying what you just said, you would take the role. Is what I'm hearing you say.
Oh well, I would only take the role. There would have to be stipulations. Like I would only take the role if I was allowed to do that kind of research. If I was allowed to bring that to the table, I would not take the role. I would not take that role if it was just a matter of, we just want you to be
a killer,
spirited,
ignorant,
just, you know what I mean. Like, I wouldn't take that role. No.
Okay, and that goes to and I'm sorry to cut off, Kurt, but that goes to Chris Tucker when he said he was gonna do another Friday. That goes to that goes to the same thing, because he said he didn't want to do that kind of role anymore, and so he turned down millions of dollars for that very reason.
That's why I brought that up. That's why I brought it up. Exactly. Good answer, Kurt.
Kurt, now pick somebody real quick. You got to ask him a question. What would you do if? Who you select?
Oh man, Rico. I'm matter of fact, I'm just, we have not had the chance to really politic, and I hope I get blessed with that. But I'm gonna come back to you.
Okay.
Are y'all still on the phone?
Yes, he's still there. Yes.
Rico, if you had one opportunity to change the trajectory of Black America,
wow,
what would it be, and why would you choose that particular opportunity?
So you're saying pretty much what angle would I tackle? Which direction would I attack that task to try to make that change? Oh man. Okay, because it's so deep, it's so much that would have to be done to even start to change, man. I think I would start in just human behavior study. The understanding of what it takes for human beings to exist and function logically, and then I would go from there. To try to get people to understand, first off, us to understand just how important we are as human beings and why we aren't looked at as human beings and how dysfunctional that is, the reason why it exists, and then to spread that so they'll know now to look at things differently as they go out into the world instead of just consuming everything and being misdirected into having the wrong values. So I think it would sort of probably start on the value system of what human beings should value and the whole purpose of life. And then we'll go from there. We'll correct all the other wrong that came after that.
That's good. That's good. I got one more before I get out of here. Brother Pete, you still with us?
Call has been forwarded to an automated voice.
Okay, somebody calling somebody. Brother Pete, you still with us?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I got one for you. And this is not necessarily what would you do if, it's a different type question. You have an opportunity to go back in time and have a 1 hour conversation with one of these three people. Which one do you select that you want to talk to for 1 hour? Pick their brains. Malcolm, Martin, or Nate.
Martin,
or Nat Turner. Nat Turner. I say Nat Turner.
Oh, I thought you said Nate. I'm about to say
who's Nate? Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
He said,
Malcolm Martin or Nat Turner.
Yes, sir. Rico.
Is that what you said?
Yes.
Yeah, I picked Nat Turner.
Why would you pick Nat?
Nat had revolution.
Rico going off over there, man.
Okay. But he also had the atmosphere and reality of that time. And he was a living being with some history of more previous time. So I think I could get more and a greater understanding in full scope from Nat Turner.
Rico, I see you over there responding. You jumping up and down, brother. What's on your heart? Talk to me.
Man, I knew he was gonna say it, man. That when you said Nat, man, it was a rap. It was a rap. When you said Nat, it was a rap. I was like, man, and I love me some Martin Luther King Jr. and I love Malcolm X, man. It can't be denied what they accomplished, man. But Nat Turner, man, hey man, he was such a danger that they don't even want you to have remnants that he existed. It's two people, him and Patrice Lumumba. They destroyed their bodies to the point to where you can't even find a trace that they were ever born. And that is a travesty. But that says a lot for you when a group of people don't want no trace of your existence. So I want to talk to Nat because when Nat came with it, ooh, man. Yeah, you said it, Pete. Good answers, everybody. Good answers, man. I'm going to have to start going to church or something after I leave this.
Leonard, which of those three would you want to have a conversation with? 1 hour conversation. Which one would you want to talk to?
I would prefer Nat Turner myself.
Wow.
I would prefer Nat Turner.
Why?
Because Nat Turner is genuinely interested in something that I would have been interested in. And it would be of freeing myself and fighting against the oppressor. That's basically what I'm about. So I like his dedication to liberation and liberating yourself and taking whatever is meant against you and say, hey, critically look at that thing yourself and make a decision as a man what you gonna do.
Exactly. Toussaint, which one would you want to have a conversation with? Martin, Malcolm, or Nat? Toussaint?
I think we're all on the same page.
Wow.
You know what? But then again, I would really want to have a more conversation with Malcolm because of our differences, if you would say, because the question asked by Louis Farrakhan was, "Do you believe in Jesus?" And he says, "Yeah, just not the Jesus that you think." So a lot of conversations we don't want to get in because of differences. I would really like to have a conversation. Yeah.
Okay.
With Malcolm.
Question?
Say it again.
Can I chime in on that question?
Oh, I'll agree to come to you, brother. What's on your heart?
If I could talk to any of them, I feel like I've had talk. Y'all, I ain't gonna say that because y'all gonna think I'm crazy. And Raheem, you ain't gonna ride me for the next year and a half thinking I'm crazy.
I was waiting on you, boy. I was hoping you was gonna say it. I know where you were going. I hope you would just say it out your mouth though, because I can't get you if you don't say it. Go ahead. There you go, Toya. Tell him to spit it out. Tell him, Toya.
Y'all gonna think I'm crazy when I say this, but I done had a talk with Dr. King, like literally. And I still to the day truly and honestly believe that because I had that conversation, that's the only reason I can play that role the way that I play it. Because I done had a conversation with him in my living room, and I asked a bunch of questions because I needed to know, and it drove me to do the research and go different places to see certain things that I didn't know existed because they don't tell us. I don't have a with one of them. It critically be Malcolm X, and the only reason that is because out of all of that, Malcolm actually traveled and went to the end of the road that I've been on, and I was scared to go to the end. If that makes sense, what I'm saying. I know that sounds kind of foolish, but Malcolm traveled a road that I literally was on, and he took it all the way to the end, where I stopped in the middle. And I said, "Nah, I don't want to be on this road anymore." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But and if you really listen to, like, I heard Donald just say something about Farrakhan. Farrakhan, honestly, all you getting is Malcolm 2.0. Any of those leaders that's in charge of the nation right now, all you actually getting is Malcolm 2.0. Most of those guys were actually, I think they call them, hot dog on it. I forget what they call it, something chief, right? But basically, they're in charge of these lodges, right? The bulk of them were actually trained by Malcolm X.
Yeah.
Because the mosque for which they represent was actually established, started, and opened by Malcolm X.
Good deal. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, not only be.
Let me go to let me go to Toya with a T real quickly. We got to get out of here, man. It's 16 after already. Toya, which one of the three would you want to have a conversation with?
Yes, you know, I love all of them and what they say, but I'm thinking in a different mode. You know, honey, I need Jesus on the main line, man. I need the Lord on the line, man, because they dead. I appreciate what they do, but when I think about the wages of sin is death, you understand what I'm saying? That does something to me. So I appreciate the roles in those lives, but I need God on the line at all times, right? Because I think we skip that sometimes when we think about the people who paved the way for us. There's so many people that paved the way. So many people that aren't even on the books that should be paid homage, but we don't. You know, so I can't really say, you know, one of those three, who one of them I would want to have on the line, because I know that if God was with all three of them, I need to get to the source.
There you go.
Right. But like what Kurt said, their notes, you know, their presence, their lives is how they speak to us. I do believe in the power to be able to have them and find out all of the answers that we need. You understand what I'm saying? With all of their past, with the documentation, with the history, with, you know, things passed down to their family members. You know what I'm saying? We can still talk to them. I believe that wholeheartedly. But as far as getting one of them on the line, I don't even need God on the line, because He's gonna make sure that I'm on top of all things and give me everything I need to know, point me whatever direction to whomever it may be. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying, I'm taking a different level.
Absolutely, absolutely. Badger, of the three, which one would you want to have a conversation with for an hour?
Nat Turner.
Okay, and why you say?
I had the privilege to read a diary from someone who served for the Confederate that was black. So I have a huge interest in understanding as much as possible of that time frame from the people that experienced it and fought against it.
Wow.
I've done so much research and study on all the notes from MLK and Malcolm, you know. So like Nat Turner is a whole nother trying to is there a way to say it civil? A whole nother style of anti-power.
Yeah,
fighting against the system.
Now, let me go to Pete. Then I'm gonna come to Rico, and he gonna tell us what's going on at 3:00 today. But Pete, did I make it unfair when I put that in the equation? Did I make it unfair?
No, it was fair. It was perfectly diplomatic and fair. We all have our individual reasons and perspectives, and you know why we choose who we choose. But no, you didn't. It wasn't unbalanced. It was very balanced. You pick one, you pick the other, and you pick one that embodies both perspectives, and then a different perspective at the same time. So, yeah.
Okay.
I think that was real good. I think today's show was exceptionally well. The subject matter. And this is the start of how you change some of these issues, conversation.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. To God be the glory, brother. To God be the glory.
Stay on mission, forward strong.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Rico, what's going on at 3:00 today?
If you missed
I'm sorry. One more thing. Did you not see how Leonard looked like Jesus on the page with the light over his head?
With the light, yeah.
With the rays going every direction. Did you see it?
Yeah, I saw what he had going on. Yes, sir.
Okay, you did comment on that, but I just had to make sure everybody saw it. Like Jesus was in the house.
Lord.
If you missed today's show and would like to see the broadcast in its entirety, you can tune in at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on www.dklmediagroup.com.
Good deal. Brother Pete, coming back to you, brother. Pray us out.
Heavenly Father, we come before you this morning. Thank you for the activity of our mind and limbs, having woke us up, dear God, and given us another chance. We ask that God, you would bless us all, those in radio land and on the panel and the listening audience, as we go our separate ways. Keep us safe until we return once again, and let everything that is good, wholesome, and upright manifest itself amongst us and in our lives. And if any of us need to tighten up on our relationship with you, then certainly we ask that you would trouble those waters, visit, comfort, counsel, and have your way. And we'll give you all the glory, honor, and praise for all that is said and done. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. It's been a great broadcast, man. It's been a great week. I want to thank everybody for joining us. And more than that, I want to thank you for allowing DK and Media Group and Associates and the Morning Glow being a part of your day. Now, let me ask you a question before I go here. Do y'all like the what would you do if? Should we implement that in every Friday conversation? Yes, sir. Yes, we're gonna keep that We're gonna keep that on Friday. So y'all look forward to, y'all get y'all questions and who y'all want to talk to, and what would you do if. We're gonna keep that on Fridays. But it's been a great broadcast again. Who that laughing over there? I want to thank everybody.
Like Jesus.
There you go. I would like to thank everybody for joining us. And more than that, I would like to thank you for allowing DKM Media Group and Associates and the Morning Glow for being a part of your morning. It is now 10:22. You're about to exit the Morning Glow. But before you go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us, because we're certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, why this is real simple. I want you to go out there, find somebody, and give them a hug, because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you can do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. And if we shine some of this light on you from the Morning Glow, take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in, and let your light so shine. If you get an opportunity, give somebody some love. You just might find some love in return. Won't that be a beautiful thing? Have a great weekend. Take care of each other, and please be blessed.